Right. So what are we calling this?
Oh, it's a disjointed talkcast.
Oh, there we go. Right. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
So, hi, I'm Jake.
And I'm
Um,
cute fuzzy weasel. You know that.
yeah. And we're doing podcasts because there's nothing else to do in the world right now.
Because everybody
Because
died.
yes, there is a pandemic. I don't know what is the difference between a pandemic and an epidemic?
A pandemic is an epidemic on a larger scale.
So this is a pandemic and it's a bigger thing than an epidemic.
Yes.
Okay. All
So
right.
a local area can have an epidemic. Like you can have an epidemic
Okay.
in New York City, but a pandemic is like pan-continental. It's like a
Right.
world war, but for a virus.
Okay. All right. Well, now I know. So, yeah, this the pandemic of the coronavirus, or if you want to sound more smarter, the COVID-19, which
Yeah,
I can't stand. I hate how the fact that like everybody just became a scientist overnight. Like,
because they're saying COVID-19.
like they just act like they know everything. Like they just went to school for it and shit. It's like, dude, shut up. Like, I can't stand the amount of people who have turned into scientists and full-blown news organizations overnight. Like, you don't know as much as I don't know. Stop talking like you know.
Well, what should we call it then? Should we call it the China virus?
you
I wanted to
know what?
I wanted to call it the bat plague. I wanted to call it the bat plague.
I know it's all like jokes, but like people are like getting bullied from it, which is stupid. But like one of my favorite jokes is calling it Kung Flu. I just think that was so funny.
Oh,
Like,
it's terrible.
in the meme world, that's hilarious. But like if people are getting like bullied for it, like stop. That's
People are
stupid.
getting the absolute shit kicked out of them for it.
Yeah, that's not cool. Don't do that.
I
If you're
don't.
listening and you're thinking about beating up somebody, like don't.
I mean, it's
Just don't.
doubly stupid because, like, number one, they're not like an Asian person does not automatically have a virus that is from Asia. And
And you
number
also like
and,
can't just take all Asians and loop them into that.
and
Like
I was
people all the time mix up like I always see people mixing up like Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese. They're always like a lot of people who don't really care to even look for small different like details and stuff will just loop them all together into one country. And then that's probably what's happening too. So there's probably people who aren't even like Chinese who are getting bullied.
no, it's happening to like Japanese Americans and
Right.
Koreans. But another thing is like if you're a stupid racist and you think that they're like spreading it, why the fuck do you want to touch them?
Yeah, why would you beat it? Like you're just getting it.
It's like I think you're contaminated, so I'm gonna touch you on the face.
Put you a full Nelson right now just to
I'm gonna make sure that I like rub my mouth next to the back of your neck to get all your sweat near all the places that can get infected. You know?
Yeah, that's not,
Like,
So that's why we're recording a podcast now, because bats
because bats killed
and
people,
there's
killed
yeah,
all
so
everybody.
that's what we're doing now. And how are you facing your quarantine?
Well, I'm unable to leave until Sunday because I made the mistake of going to a clinic because I had a really bad cough, and
Mm,
they didn't test me because I didn't have a fever,
okay.
so they gave me a rescue inhaler and
Okay.
some Tylenol.
And the cough is gone?
Oh, the cough cleared up like a day later.
There you go.
I don't know. That it
So yeah,
probably wasn't the virus. I mean, it probably
it
was
probably
just like
wasn't.
dust or something. But hey, I mean, now I got a rescue inhaler.
There you go. I think my biggest issue, honestly, like I just have terrible allergies. So like this came at the worst time because I'll wake up with like a runny nose and like my eyes are like kind of all watery and shit and then like I'll be sneezing and people will be looking at me weirdly, which I haven't been in public in about 4 days now. So um
It's if you have shortness of breath. That's
yeah, which I
apparently
don't have,
the
especially since I've been belting out some vocals earlier today. So I can't be doing that if I can't breathe.
Yeah, please don't get like I know you're bored and everything, but like do yourself a favor. Because I mean, there's like people who are coming out of this, like people who are coming out of the virus like better, but they lose like 30% lung capacity because of the damage of what it does to the lungs. Like it leaves scars inside the body, and that can really fuck you up.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to stay away from it.
I got a friend and his wife. They probably both have it.
Jeez.
And they got a daughter.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's a bad. I'm trying honestly. Right now, I mean, I like the money, but part of me is like, dude, just dip into your savings and ride this out. Please don't go. It's like, dude, please don't go to work. I know you like the paycheck, and especially when I projected like the hours that they're giving me because everyone's calling off. It's like I stand to make $700 in a week, but I'm like,
I mean, that's good money.
Yeah, that's good money, but like,
is it worth your health?
If I get like seriously ill, that is it. I mean, first I'm gonna owe way more than $700 anyway.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're gonna fire me. Like they already kind of told everybody, like, look, we need people here, but like, Target's not
don't die
over.
Yeah.
Like, this company's not worth your life. So if you really want to leave, it sucks, but we understand.
I'm glad to hear that kind of thing too. Because that could easily have been like, "Oh, you better fucking show up."
Oh, it could have easily been what's been going down at GameStop.
Oh, are they doing that at GameStop? No.
Oh my God, have you not? Oh right, you've been intentionally avoiding news.
Yeah, I don't want to know because you know what? It's just gonna make me depressed, and there's nothing worse than becoming depressed while also being quarantined alone in a room. So,
do you want me to tell you?
At this point, I'm assuming that they're just being jerks. Like, you can't fucking... I don't care. I don't care.
So GameStop has been telling their employees... Well, they were back in California until the government, like, stepped in and said, if you keep your stores open, we're just going to arrest everyone inside and shut you down and drill your doors in. But they were telling their West Coast associates, like, look, we're an essential business.
Oh no!
Because we sell software, and people need software to work from home.
Who the fuck goes to GameStop to get software?
And then they weren't giving their employees like hand sanitizer or sanitizing wipes, so they couldn't. They were saying like you still have to accept trades, even though trades are fucking disgusting. And then a memo came out to all the stores saying, look. If the cops come, argue with the cops.
Oh, no.
Argue with the cops because we need to stay open. And then it took like a regional managers conference leaked on YouTube where the managers were like begging corporate like, hey, listen, we've got a lot of scared employees. They could really use some like reassurance from like HR. And the HR Karen was, and I'm calling Karen, she was like, well, really, that's your job. You should be reassuring them, not us. We've kind of already done our job. And then when they asked, like, okay, what about sick employees? They're asking if they're going to be covered on sick leave. And the people at the corporate were going, we don't, I mean, it's an evolving situation. We're looking at it day by day,
Oh my god!
And it's like, no, just give us an answer. And they're like, well, listen, it's an evolving situation. We're listening to the news every day.
What they're waiting for is they're waiting for their employees to get so sick they're gonna be like, well, dude, you're gonna die anyway. Why did you need the money?
Well, that's what they've been telling you. That's what Glenn Beck's been saying. That's what they've turned into a fucking death cult. They've turned into a goddamn death cult because at first, like. So the people like Glenn Beck came out and said like, hey, I'm 78. I'm not 78, but I'm going to be 70 soon, I guess.
I'm one of the contenders for getting this severely.
And he said like, listen, the young people should stay inside, and us old people should brave the virus to go back to work so the economy doesn't. And I'm like, let's sacrifice ourselves for the economy, everybody. Like, Jesus.
That's. Here's the thing: the economy is gonna suffer either way.
Yeah.
And the good part is that it will come back. It will come back. Like, one day it will come back. It will come back to being good. Like, that's the biggest issue is that people don't like the numbers dropping. So they're like, well, let's not make the numbers drop so much. We have to, like, save the numbers and make it not look like it's as bad as it is. No, let it get bad and then grow it again. Like, I don't know. My thing is, I don't believe, like, I know that people believe the government is super evil at times and stuff like that, but I don't think, like, they would intentionally be like, oh, like, let people die. Like, you can't be a ruler of something that doesn't exist anymore. Like, you have to let your people live. Even if it's as cynical as possible, you have to let your people live so you can rule them with an iron fist.
How much do you want me to spoil for you?
Don't anything. I don't care. I don't want to know.
Because you've been out of the loop for a while. Because, like,
I don't want to know.
You're saying this, and I, like, already know. Hey, they want to reopen the economy by Easter.
I heard that. I think want is just like, I would hope, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Like, I'm gonna take the benefit of the doubt and go to the high road on that one and say, I think it's a want that's not achievable, and it will be not achievable when the day comes, and it won't happen.
You give these people
I'm just gonna go on
more credit than I do.
I'm going to give the credit now because that's all I have to live by at this point. If I don't give the credit, then I'm going to be more depressed. I'd rather give the credit and say that it's a hopeful thing, but it's not going to happen. More so to just, it's still some sort of fucking deadline and hope that's not going to happen. And when it comes Easter, it's not going to go and nothing's going to happen. And we're just going to keep going with the pandemic until it gets fixed.
Santa will come down and make it all better.
Yeah, the Easter Bunny will show up, put his eggs everywhere, and all of them are the eggs that you're gonna open is gonna be a tiny little vaccine for the coronavirus. That's what's gonna happen.
Look, Mommy, a needle.
Plunge it in your arm, and you'll get another 30 minutes.
It's take these pills.
You know, like the little bite-sized like Milky Ways and stuff that you get in like the Fitney eggs. That'll be like tiny little needles just to, like, give you an extra little boost of, like, health.
They'll be like health packs in a video game.
Yeah.
You know, your
anyway,
health counter will be going ticking down, and you'll have to, like, shove chocolate eggs in your mouth to get, like, points back.
Right. But anyway, so we don't go more into how detrimental things are. I actually think that this came at the best time for my life, at least.
Oh, yeah.
In the sense that...
Can you imagine if this happened, like, last semester?
Oh, no, I'm talking about, could I imagine if this happened when I moved to LA?
Oh, yeah, that would have been worse, too.
Yeah, that would have been horrible. Because, as much as it would have sucked senior year to try and make these thesis films while being quarantined... Like, at least they're still trying to give us the education. So at the end of all of it, I think I'd still come out with the thing that's hung on my wall right now.
Yeah, all the classes got transferred to pass-fail.
Exactly. So I think that I would have been able to... I wouldn't feel good about it, and I definitely wouldn't have my Best Narrative Film award. But, you know, it would be better than being stuck in Los Angeles... quarantined there. I heard that my friend out there said that there was definitely some sort of looting going on, shit like that, so I can only imagine what the fuck's going on out there.
So you could have joined in the looting, though.
Yeah, but I could have also caught it in the looting, and then I would have died.
Oh. Then you could have become a real-life Darth Vader.
Actually, you know what was funny is that I was going to go to Harris Teeter today, and I was going to put on my Darth Vader helmet. Just put on some gloves and a Darth Vader helmet, and... It'd been funny.
It's
I
been
would have made some meme pages.
it's been standard procedure for me now every time I come back from work to like strip down, throw all my clothes into a washing machine and take like a deep hot shower. Like a
I
big
mean,
like
that's
a
gotta feel good though.
decontamination shower. It does feel good. Like it's become more of a routine. Like of all the things that I've started doing, this is probably the one thing that I'm going to keep cuz like I never used to do it. Like I just get home and sit down and just start immediately going into work, but like taking a shower after like an 8-hour shift is like, oh man, actually feels really good.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely like a decompressing kind of thing. Warm showers are always the best too. So, as much as people say like you should take a cold shower, wake you up more. It's like,
Oh
dude,
God,
fuck
no.
that. I'm taking a warm shower. I hate that. I hate when people think they found some sort of self-help thing. Like, dude, you wake up better and you feel better at the end of it when you took a cold shower. I'm like, yeah, but fuck that shit. I'm gonna take a warm ass shower.
Well, you take a cold, like there's this diet called called the fat pig diet, where the whole idea is that you eat like a fucking slob and then you fast until you're basically starving to death and then you eat like a
I
fucking
heard about
slob
that.
again. And it's like, isn't that like horribly unhealthy? Doesn't that shock
probably
your
is.
organs?
It probably does, but I will tell you this: my cousin, has been unintentionally doing that, and he's lost a lot of weight since I've seen him. Like,
I mean, if your
it's
goal
probably not
is-
good, but he was pretty big at one point, and then last time I saw him, he was catching up to me. So I was like, Jesus Christ, dude.
just portion control. Just
Yeah, that's true.
Eat
Also,
smaller portions. In fact, you can just eat throughout the. Don't even like one of the things that I tried was eating small meals throughout the day. Don't have dinner. Just have another small meal, and then you bump your blood, and it keeps your blood sugar more or less even the entire day. In theory, in practice, the thing that's been working out best for me is to just not eat as much. And I found that one of the reasons why I used to overeat was just because I was bored.
that's what I'm doing now.
So I keep myself busy. I find like when I'm busy, like when you're in a movie, like when you're on a set and everything and you're working and shit. Like there were whole days where I'd go without like really like get home and like, oh shit, I haven't eaten anything all day.
That's
so
what it was like
fucking
when I was
busy.
editing.
Yeah, because you're just so fucking busy. So
You're not even thinking about eating.
yeah, so now I just eat a smaller portion and make sure that I'm working the whole day. And I lose
good.
weight and I get more shit done.
I mean, it's all progress, you got to do something. You always got to be productive. It doesn't matter what. Even if it's like not to service the food or anything, just especially quarantine. Like I saw you building those miniature sets. That's something to keep you busy. I've been trying to I've been writing more music, coming out with some stuff, which by the way, I found out some really cool things about writing music that I never knew about, and I've been applying them, and my songwriting's been getting better.
Okay, like what?
So there's this video that I found, and it was like this old lady teaching a music class, and she basically said that, and I'm going to butcher the hell out of this because it's to someone who kind of knows it, trying to tell it to somebody who doesn't know it, and I'm not going to know the proper terminology, and you're not going to understand it. It's going to be like a different language, but there's like this circle that you can abide to, and they call it the circle of fifths, but if you go the opposite direction, it's the circle of fourths. It's really weird. But what basically is you read it kind of like a clock. And whatever's at 12 o'clock, whatever note you put at 12 o'clock is going to be what key your song is in. And then the note that's going to be preceding right after it and right before it are going to be your dominant and subdominant, which are going to both be majors as well. So if you're in a C major, whatever is to the left and right of it immediately are both going to be major chords as well. And then you just kind of have to figure out what the notes are within that chord, like in that key. And it's very hard to explain it, but basically I just run up the neck of the guitar and you kind of go, you skip a fret, and then you go to like the fret right next to it, and you got to figure out which notes those are if you start on C. And basically what you're finding out is from C to the next C octave, what notes are in between those two C's that are going to make up the key. And then you write them out, you assign them each a number. And then there's like this little unspoken code that she shows you where the first chord in your chord progression is going to be the key that the song is in. So if you pick C, that's the first chord. That first chord can be preceded by any chord after that. So 1 equals any. So if I go to like 4, then 4 can only be preceded by the 5th chord or the first chord again, or something like that. And then if you go to the 5th one, then that can only be preceded by the 2nd one, and then the 2nd one can only be preceded by the 6th, and the 6th can only be preceded by the 1st. It's so weird. But after I found that out, I would sit down and I'd say, all right, what song is whatever I'm writing right now, what key can I figure out what key this is? All right, this is A minor. So what other chords can I work with? Can I work with these? Can it work in that rule that she showed me? And when I figured that out, I just wrote the song around that, and it's one of the best sounding songs I've written. So it was a really cool thing to find out.
That sounds like math.
It's basically math.
It sounds like math or a computer program.
Yeah, I would believe that would be a kind of a way to say it's like a computer program. It's so interesting to see like music theory without getting too technical, and kind of like it's almost like music theory for idiots, it felt like. So it just kind of clicked all of a sudden. I'm like, holy shit. And I would follow along with what she was doing, because she'd show you like, here's what it would sound like, and I would just kind of play along, and I'm like, this sounds like an actual song now. Like, this doesn't just sound like some bullshit that I put together.
It doesn't sound like chord, other chord, other chord.
It doesn't sound like someone who thinks that they're good at something, but then the professionals will come in and be like, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he was doing the whole time. And so, that's kind of how it felt, because all these other songs that I've written, sure, they sound good. They sound good to people who don't know anything about music, but are they actually good? And I kind of had to go back and look at the stuff I was writing. Now, some of it does kind of closely match up to the rule, so it was just kind of like ear, which, something I do is literally just sit and listen to music all the time. So at some point I'm going to get an ear for what sounds good and what sounds bad, but I won't know the rules, and I won't know how to make a good sounding song.
Well, have you
it will just sound all right.
Have you taken any of this and like looked at a song and tried to deconstruct it in that way?
Yes, I was listening to so I have this hold on a second. Yeah, so I had this thing on my Fire Stick where it was called Pluto TV, and at the bottom of it were all these music channels. There's one literally for like 80s hair metal, and Bon Jovi's Bad Medicine started playing right after I watched that video, and I was like, all right, let's see what this lady had to say. Let's see if what she said was true. So I kind of listened. I looked up the chords, or I looked up just kind of like the regular chord progression, and I was like, all right, does this actually match? And outside of like a couple of things that I kind of had to work myself into understanding, it matched up perfectly to what she was saying. So I'm like, this thing fucking works. Holy shit. There's like a couple of notes, but I think it's if you throw in notes that are within a chord, but they're not like chords in the key. So like the song I think was in E major. And there's not supposed to be a G chord. It's supposed to be a G sharp, if I'm correct. I could be completely wrong, and whoever hears this is going to rip me a new one. But, like, they go from E, and they'd hit a G note, and then go to the next chord. And I think that's just a transition, because that G might make up the E chord, I guess. I don't know. It's all gibberish. It all, it works when it works, but I can't fully tell you how it works, because I'm still pretty amateur. I kind of just got by making it sound like I knew what I was doing. I'm a good shit talker. So I can make people believe I know what I'm talking about, and then like just kind of sit there and be like, dude, I've been feeding this person shit for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, sometimes
that's how business works.
Sometimes they smile and go along with you.
That's also true. But I would hope someone would have the heart to tell me, like, dude, that's not how that works. So I could learn. Because, like, if I'm sitting there saying, "Hey, this is how a song is fucking built," and they're like, "Well, actually, that's not how it's built." I'd be like, "All right, well, now I know that I'm not going to sound like an idiot for the rest of my life."
It's not. Well, I mean, I know you'd learn eventually.
Yeah. By the way, that cough was just my throat was dry because I was talking for so long. That's not the coronavirus, so
I mean, one of the
don't
symptoms
freak
is a
out.
dry cough.
But I was also talking for a long time there.
Yeah, one of the symptoms is also talking for a while.
One of the other symptoms is also being a cynical asshole. So.
There you go. You got it bad.
Oh shit.
You got COVID-19 bad.
Stop.
COVID-19.
It's called the bat flu.
The bat flu. The
Bat
plague.
flu. Yeah, dude. So this whole quarantine thing pretty much sucks, though.
Actually, it's called COVID. I was calling it Corvid for the longest time because I figured
you go.
Corona, Corona, core. Like I thought the
Dude,
R was in the name.
I just did the opposite of what I asked people to do because you said Corvid and I just smiled and nodded and went along with it. Like I didn't have the heart to correct you.
I don't know. I think Corvid sounds better than COVID.
I think
COVID sounds like an insurance plan.
Yeah.
Do you want COVID blue or do you want COVID gold?
Or COVID-19.
COVID-19
I don't know, dude.
It has a lower deductible, but it doesn't have dental.
Stupid.
I'm glad one of the symptoms of the virus is not teeth falling out.
I'm glad hair loss isn't one of them.
There you go.
I would be screwed.
I mean, it wouldn't really matter for me, but
dude, I kept saying if I lose my hair one day, I will shamelessly wear a wig. Like I don't care. I would be upfront too. I'd be like, yeah, I fucking wear a wig. If you see me bald, I don't want to be that. Some people could pull it off. I can't.
I've seen pictures of you without long hair. No, I agree.
Thank you.
It's like
thanks, asshole.
It's like a little munchkin.
Fuck you.
It's like a little peach munchkin.
Fuck off.
Actually, you go from rocker to your nephew Dale, who got an Xbox 360 a couple months back.
Guys want to eat Doritos and drink Mountain Dew and play Call of Duty?
Guys want to just fucking inject your veins with Monster Energy drink?
Guys want a quick scope?
360
quick scope
no
on
scope.
Rush. But yeah, I honestly, dude, I'm kind of losing my mind with this quarantine thing. I can't stand it. I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Because as productive as I could be, like there's no other side of it. It's at some point the being productive part is getting boring to me.
Well, that's because you only adopted the isolation. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see a crowd of more than 10 people until I was a man.
Shut up. The thing that's pissing me off the most is all these couples that are like, "Oh, my quarantine buddy, I'm so happy to have you." It's like, go fuck yourselves.
You guys are both gonna get it.
I mean, if they're locked up together and they both don't have it, then I don't see how they get it.
I don't know. I'm locked in a small room with a cat. What do you think, Tyler?
I think animals can.
Tyler.
I think animals can.
Tyler, stop looking at me like that, Tyler. Tyler, why do you say such terrible things? Stop it, Tyler. Stop it.
He call you a racial slur?
Yeah, which doesn't
Tyler...
make any sense.
Tyler likes to do that.
Yeah, he likes
Tyler likes to project racial stereotypes on the people that don't actually apply to him.
Now he's got his knives.
Yeah, dude. I was trying to knock out some movies that I haven't seen, and try to get that, get my watch list, strike some of those off. I just watched a couple of the ones from 2019 because, dude, I got to tell you again, 2019, one of the best years for movies.
It was a great year for movies. 2019 Great year for movies. 2020 going to be a great year for video games.
I'm not a huge video game person, so I wouldn't know.
I got done with Doom Eternal a couple of days ago. It's fucking awesome.
Oh, but dude, I watched both 1917 and Jojo Rabbit recently. Both of those are good fucking movies.
I like Jojo Rabbit more than I like 1917.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I like 1917 more.
Eh.
Should we just put a spoilers disclaimer if we're gonna go into it?
Yeah, probably. Probably spoilers.
Spoilers.
Stop
don't
here
listen.
and skip around randomly in the video until we stop talking about movies.
Yeah, which who knows when. We'll probably, I don't know. Are you gonna put this anywhere that can show a time code?
Oh, YouTube.
All right, well then throw a time code up whenever we stop this.
Okay.
All right, so, dude, again, I here's the thing. I watched 1917 and Jojo Rabbit in the same day, and I watched 1917 first, and I was so just kind of blown away by it because the story is kind of nothing.
Well, yeah.
It's kind of like hey, you have a brother, go find him in this platoon that's about to make an attack that's gonna fail. Stop.
So I guess really 1917 is better visually, and JoJo has a better story.
Yes, I would say that because I was heavily engaged just by what's going on in 1917. I was so just kind of this is so cool that they haven't cut. They cut once in the whole movie. And unless they do that tactic, I can't figure out how the fuck they did that.
They hide it. They hide the cut.
Was it because I know there was the part where they got to they got past no man's land to the other bunker of the enemy, and it got really dark for a second. I think there was a cut probably there.
Anytime it gets dark, anytime if the camera's really close to an explosion, and the character's out of frame for a split second, you can cut there.
Right.
There are times where if they're going into a building, and the camera follows them, and it follows them through a wall. Mm-hmm. There's a cut there. You can get really creative with unbroken movies like that. There was a Campus Movie Fest film that actually did it really well. I can't remember.
Was it this year?
It was this year, but it wasn't ECU.
Okay.
Obviously.
Yeah, I was about to say, who the fuck tried to do that for Campus Movie Fest? I applaud them, but
yeah, it was
nobody we know.
It was like a hospital heist, and the camera kept following. Would follow all the actors that had the thing they were stealing from the hospital. So they would hand it off, and the camera would focus on that character, and then that character walked around if they walk around in a doorway, and they pass by, and they're out of frame, you can cut there. Just match the camera movement.
Yeah.
And swing it around, and that's why a lot of these. This is why I get annoyed sometimes with the professors at ECU, sometimes where they say well, it's not important to shoot in 4K. Well, okay, it's not important to shoot in 4K, but 4K lets you do a lot more with the picture in post.
Yeah.
And if you're filming on super tight time constraints, being able to seriously crop an image or modify it just by moving it a little bit, that can save a film.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened with my thesis, because there's moments where I had to punch in and punch out and shit, or just punch in. I can't punch out on a lot of them, but punch in on them, and it does damper the quality of the screen and the film.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Shot composition, camera placement, camera movement,
all important.
Character position, all of those are more important. But
yes,
if you can shoot in 4K or 6K, do it.
Definitely.
I mean,
I agree with you.
There's more space involved. Okay, you have to get another hard drive. Okay. So what? You know?
Yeah. But as far as like 1917 went, the only part that I could like definitely tell there was a cut was when he got, like shot in the head, but like it hit his helmet or whatever, and it kind of knocked him out because he fell down the stairs. I was like, all right, there's like the one obvious cut in the movie because they had the time jump. Which I was blown away by that because I was in my head I was like, how the fuck are they gonna time jump in this? Because they keep talking about how it's about to be nighttime, but I saw the shot in the trailer where he's sprinting across the battlefield, and I haven't seen that yet. And I know that I don't think 1917 is one of those movies to do like we'll shoot things that are going to be in the trailer but not in the movie. Like I kind of think that's more of like just a Avengers thing. But I was like, how are they going to get to that day? Because we're about to be in nighttime. Like, you keep talking about the sun setting, it's getting close.
That's what
so
I was like. Watch.
What?
Avengers Endgame.
Are you like serious?
Well, like I haven't seen it since I saw that, the
bootleg one.
Well, yeah, and I'm like thinking, you're like, I haven't seen this thing without some guy getting up right in the middle of it.
I mean, yeah, go watch it, dude.
I should probably go see it. I mean, if I could, I'd have to get Disney Plus.
Or you could just find it online again. They probably have a whole bunch of versions of it now.
Part of getting the new laptop is I'm trying to keep on the straight and narrow when it comes to like fishy files and shit.
Yeah.
Cuz this is a really awesome laptop. It cost me, I got it for a great deal. It's a $1,600 laptop.
Okay.
That I got for $800.
That's a steal.
And I'm like, I don't want to risk putting anything on this thing that'll eat it. Because that's normally what kills my laptops. I get a little cocky and I go somewhere I shouldn't, and I'm like, oh, yeah, fuck it. I know how to track shit down through the registry. And then, nope, it hides itself somewhere else. And then one day I'm using a laptop and it just fucking dies. So,
damn.
I mean, I have to repair the two laptops that I've had prior to this, because there's the situation at ECU right now with the senior thesis stuff is like, oh, it's all kinds of fucked.
Oh God, I can only imagine.
We still have equipment out. We have all but one of the C100s out.
Oh no.
We have so much out, and we have plans to get it back. And obviously this is going to go public, so I can't really like go too much into it, but we've got plans to get it back, but it's like there are people who haven't had the chance to film anything, and they're not gonna, because they can't get the equipment.
Right.
And it just
how are they even
how are they
what are they going to do about it?
So they're extending the ability for people to check out equipment to next semester, and this semester they can just film something different by whatever means they can.
So like iPhones?
Yeah, if they have to. It's I mean, normally it wouldn't be allowed, but these are obviously extraordinary circumstances.
Very true. So what are they gonna like? So for people graduating, their thesis film is gonna be like an iPhone film? Yeah. And how are they gonna do it if they can't? How are they gonna do it if? Because I heard that North Carolina's about to do the whole shutdown thing. So how are they gonna be able to do anything that's not them just in their room?
I don't know. I mean, you can. I've been writing a script for a horror movie that takes place in this apartment that I can shoot myself. So
yeah, but how many times are you gonna get that video? Like,
I don't know.
I think someone could do it, but I don't think everybody could.
Maybe
unless they're literally just gonna.
They could make a claymation.
That's true. Now would be the perfect time to piss Tierno off and do the animation.
It's funny because when I was talking about doing an animation for my thesis film, he said like, yeah, we don't actually get a whole lot of animations. That'd be a good idea. And then like Then like a month later, I was talking about it again. And he was like, I don't really like animations. I'm like, which is it?
Yeah, you don't want to screw yourself by making an animation only for him to be like, I hate animation.
Oh, I'm just. I had an idea for an animation that I wanted to do for a campus movie fest. And I was going to do it until I found out, like, the Animation Guild was going to be in Campus Movie Fest. And I was like, well, shit, Selfish me, I want to win something.
Right.
So I'm like, I figured, well,
God forbid I want accomplishments.
I probably can't, like, compete with these animation people. So I'm going to do this other project instead. And I saw their animations, and, like, I'm not knocking them, but what I was planning on doing probably would have got me an award. Probably.
Damn.
You know what? It's on the pile of things that I will be working on as I am trapped in my apartment.
Yeah, there's a couple of scripts I was trying to work on. I'm not going to give the details here because they're not done yet. I don't want anybody else to write it. So
public, yeah.
Yeah, but
we sound like we're so far up our own asses right now.
We are up our own asses, dude. I don't care, man. There's things that I write that are like not gonna go anywhere, and I'm so afraid to even put them on like fucking Snapchat just to be like, hey, I'm working on some stuff, because I don't want some dude to like be like, oh, I got 24 hours. I'm gonna keep watching this video to figure out what he wrote and played, so I can do it.
I'm gonna write this script in 24 hours that I like fucking poached off of this guy's Instagram, and now I'm winning a fucking Grammy because of the.
Like I wanted to put because that really cool guitar thing that I was doing, and I wrote a full song for at this point. I wanted to just kind of put it on Snapchat and just kind of be like, hey, still working on music for anybody that cares. And then I don't want like somebody to be like, oh, all right, well that sounds cool, I'm gonna do it, and then does it, Like I wish I had a desktop computer, because I would be heavily working on shit like that could actually work, because I have the Scarlet thing set up now, but I don't trust my laptop to do anything proper.
You should.
So I don't want to put any of these free programs that it gives me onto this computer only for it to just become trash, and then I lose that free trial thing or that free version or whatever.
Oh, you should definitely do that.
What?
Get Audacity.
Oh, I think I do have Audacity.
You should. There are a lot of really good free programs out there that, like, I like Adobe, but you don't necessarily need Adobe to do a lot of Adobe stuff.
Right. Actually, let me see if I still have Audacity on my computer, because that would be, then I would definitely mess around with that shit.
I mean,
just see what I can do.
I use Adobe because I'm, I've had it forever.
You have it. That's the thing too, is I love Adobe because I was able to make, even though they, sound like shit now that I think about it more, but I was able to make, music by putting my fucking phone on the top of my amp and using voice memos, and it sounded decent. Like, it didn't sound like complete garbage.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, I can do this with the voice memos? What if I actually had equipment? Like, what the fuck could I do there? And now I have equipment. So
have you
I don't
thought
know, man.
about doing like covers, like recording yourself doing covers?
Well, that's kind of what was the audition stuff, was covers. But I also didn't like, I don't know, I wasn't doing proper things with singing that I kind of adapted on my own since then. And now that I have a better microphone, like, that was probably the worst part about it, was I had to use voice memos for my voice, and I didn't know how to use compression yet. So I had to really mess with the vocals and stuff to just kind of even make it sound good, because it wasn't through a microphone, it was through a phone. And there was a lot of peaking and stuff that I didn't know how to get around at the time, and I just realized all you have to do is compress it. At least for voice. Compression, doing anything compression otherwise, really fucks with a song, but you do compression on a voice because you can't control the volume of that. Like, if you're trying to get to a certain spot on a song, you're going to have to put more emphasis on the voice. So the quieter parts of a song or a vocal melody, like, you'll end up making it low so your mic's not peaking. but to get your low parts of a song and your high parts of a song to sound even, you have to compress it, because that'll raise the lower register while lowering the higher register, and it'll kind of make it more even, but not taking anything away from it.
Have you thought about
That's me talking out of.
Have you thought about doing like a cover of like you should do a cover of E1M1. I'd love to see that.
E1M1?
Yeah, Doom.
Oh, I don't know that. So
you don't know E1M1?
Right. No.
You never heard that?
No. I told you, dude, I'm not big into video games.
Ah, man. All right.
Like,
okay.
I tried to. I really tried to. At one point, I really tried to, like, get really excited about video games. But, I don't know, man. It's just the fact that, like, a lot of people I know a lot about video game culture, but nothing about, like, actual games themselves. I know that there's been a lot of recent games that have only been, like, the campaign mode would only take, like, 4 to 6 hours, and people would be very angry about that.
Yeah, this is E1M1. This is At Doom's Gate.
I'm so sorry.
Goddamn fucking ads. No one cares about your stupid heart. State Farm. Get eaten by pigs. Go get eaten by pigs. All right.
You know what? I might have actually heard this.
It's like one of the more famous pieces of video game music.
That sounds very familiar, so maybe I have heard that.
Yeah, I'd love to hear you do like a cover of that. I mean, I know vocals are really more your thing, but you know.
Well, no, because I've been trying to like work on guitar playing too, though. Like one of the hardest things I've actually had to try and do was write a coherent guitar solo to the song that I did. That's the biggest thing about writing my music now is I would always get so antsy about getting the guitar solo right away, but I don't have a rhythm below it, which is something that I always feel like you need to do before you write the guitar solo now. So what I did with this recent song I've been working on was I wrote the rhythm section where I want the guitar solo to be, and then I'm trying to work the guitar solo over the rhythm that I created. And there's like a half of the solo is kind of a standard easy thing, so I kind of just play this little melody over and over. But when it kind of kicks into full gear again, I want to get this crazy guitar solo going. Only problem is I think my ambitions are higher than my skill at the moment. So I'm trying really hard to figure out what sounds cool that's also in my skill range, because I would love to put something out, like just something standard of my own. While I'm stuck in my room, it would be really cool to come out with an actual full song and try to figure out how to get some sort of drum beat. You know,
drum on a
like
table.
I don't know. No. Like I want legit drums. Like I want to make an actual song, but I'm trying to figure out if there's some sort of way to get like a drum machine kind of thing, which I'm all against at the moment. But as of right now, I need the, I don't have a drummer.
What if you?
And I can't be with a drummer.
What if you MacGyvered one together?
Well, that's what I did with I was doing a cover of a song, and I was doing a cover of a song, and I kind of just pulled up a standard drum beat in the same beats per minute that the song was originally in, and then there's a part where it was supposed to the drum's supposed to drop out except for like a consistent snare drum hitting. It wasn't anything else, and it was kind of like the thing that I don't know. It's hard to explain. A lot of the 80s
I don't
arena songs did it.
I don't mean like recreate it in the computer. I mean like get some long object and just hit things and see what thing that you hit makes the best sound, and then just use that.
Nah, because I'm not good at drums. I'm not good at doing that. Like I need a person who actually. Here's the thing: I'm born with some form of natural rhythm, but it comes in the sense of I know how to guitar. Like put the rhythm with a guitar, because there's a certain skill to have, which is I think overlooked, honestly. My friend has been trying to tap into it because he wants to be a guitar player too, but he started way too late. And one of the issues he's having is when there's a rhythm section to a song, he doesn't know how long it's supposed to go for before it switches, which I kind of just have an ear and a feel to. So let's just say there's a song that the guitar is supposed to just chug at a certain part, just like something like that. He won't know when to switch to the next little part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I just the little mouth riff you did there just reminded me of another part of E1M1.
Oh, cool. But
I feel like an old
you know
man.
you know where you're changing like after the you know that whole part.
Yeah.
He won't know when to go to the after the and
Generally
so he'll
speaking,
ask me.
Doesn't like the pattern repeat like twice and then a half and then go into it?
Well, I mean it's different for every song, but when I'm saying like when a song requires you to do that, he doesn't have the ear and the feel to know when it changes. So when we're playing something together and he asks me what, like, when I do something like that, he'll ask me, how many times did you just do that before you changed? And I'm like, dude, I have no idea. I just the feel and it works. Like, I won't know. I'd have to count it out. And I'll actually count it out wrong if I'm slowly trying to figure out how much I did it. But for some reason, I'll just know when to switch, and I'll just know how to keep a consistent beat and rhythm with it. So it's very weird. It's a very weird thing that I just kind of know how to do. So I don't really know where I was going with that.
I don't know. My brain started moving on to cutting boards for no reason.
Yeah. My brain kind of just left the building for a second. My mouth just kept going.
I was just thinking that like self-sealing cutting boards are like horribly unsanitary.
I'm sorry for anybody listening who I just bored the shit out of. And the whole problem is I never even got to like what I thought about Jojo Rabbit.
It was good. Anyway, let's talk about. I thought Jojo Rabbit was spectacular. And I thought
it was.
I think the idea that Watiti, his name, the director, also played Hitler.
Yeah, I love that.
And that he can play Hitler and then go on to film like a Disney movie.
I love that. I love that there was some sort of openness to allowing that to happen. Because here's the thing, I actually was like kind of like caught off guard with the movie because I was expecting something different.
Really?
The way that the trailers made it seem like, I thought it was going to be more of just a straightforward comedy.
Oh.
And it wasn't. So when I sat down and I started getting deep, I was like, whoa, what's going on? I haven't laughed in like a good 15 minutes, but I'm like still intrigued. What is going on? And after the movie, I was like, that was not what I expected. I think that's the difference between why I picked 1917 over Jojo Rabbit, because I got what I expected out of the movie while being blown away by the cinematography. The opposite can be said about Jojo Rabbit. I knew that it was going to look good, but I didn't know what I was expecting to actually watch. And when I saw what I was watching, which again, I think we're still in the spoiler section, but when his fucking mother died, like,
yeah,
I was like, Jesus Christ, this got really deep all of a sudden. What the fuck? But it was brilliantly done.
I think some of my favorite character moments came from the what's his name? I don't want to call him the fat kid.
Oh, Yogi.
Yogi, yeah.
Yeah.
Yogi.
That kid is so...
When he was like dragging the grenades around, he was like, no, now it's the Americans and the Soviets. And the Soviets are going to come and rape our dogs, and we have to protect our dogs.
We don't really care about the Jews anymore.
We don't really care about them anymore. We have to protect our dogs.
You know who actually I really liked Sam Rockwell in the movie.
Yeah.
I really liked in that. Like, especially, like, I don't know if it's like you don't want to root for a Nazi, but when he kind of like when Jojo was getting roped in with the other Nazis because he had that green jacket on, and then he kind of like took the jacket off of him and called him a Jew and spit in his face to get it to save him from the Soviets. Like, I like that moment, even though like he's supposed to be a fucking Nazi soldier. You know, that's where I think we got to kind of put that whole like, oh, is it right for me to feel that thing? We kind of have to throw that away and just say this was a really good movie with good characters, despite the fact that the characters, a lot of them were Nazis. Because they weren't, you know, like they weren't traditional Nazis. They were goofy.
It wasn't a movie. It wasn't trying to like. It wasn't like a Lost Cause movie. You know, it's like what's the one Civil War movie? I forget the name of it. It's not Gettysburg. It's the other one. There's a Civil War movie that's like completely like Lost Cause Southern propaganda.
Oh,
where it's like it's like all the Confederates are all like very gentle Southerners, sir. You know, and all the Union soldiers are just like trashing everything. And all the slaves are just really happy to be hanging out on the front lines and all that. Like, all that. Yeah, there are movies. This was not a Lost Cause movie. This was an actual kind of quasi-realistic movie that wasn't trying to paint them as, like... It was maybe humanizing some of them. Some of them. And I do say some of them. But it wasn't like, oh, they were, you know, this is a misunderstood side. No,
it's not. They depicted the Nazis, like a good amount of the Nazis, as these are evil fucking people.
Like the one kid who was when they were like defending the town, and the youth instructor was like, "Go see that American over there? Go on, go give him a big hug."
Oh yeah,
Yogi, you've been promoted. You get your own pistol now. Go shoot everyone who doesn't look like us.
Yeah, no, that and you gotta just think about like that. It's still a comedy above the drama parts of it, and I think that it's appropriate enough to just make them look like goofballs because they were goofy. They were very goofy Nazis, especially like the ones that were going like water training, and they all jumped into the pool with all their weaponry and uniform and shit. No, they weren't in their uniform. They had like the really stupid like swimsuits on from like the really old days.
Yeah,
like they were the onesies that kind of like rode up in the crotch and shit, and they like jumped into the water with like flame. Like what? I don't know what was on their back. It was just a bunch of weaponry and shit.
Like a pack.
And they all couldn't swim or something. It was so fucking funny.
Or the part where like JoJo's running with a grenade and he throws a grenade and it bounces off a tree and lands right in front of him. It blows up, and Sam Rockwell's like, "Don't do that."
Yeah, I know, they didn't give a fuck. Like that was a good. I like that. That was a good movie.
Have you? If you're interested in something that's not 2019, I know I told you. I told you about. Boy and His Dog. Like, if you're on the subject of the apocalypse, if you want to see a really weird, funny, post-apocalyptic movie, A Boy and His Dog is really good.
Okay.
It's about a horny teenager and his psychotic telepathic dog.
That sounds interesting.
And he gets captured by a bunch of people underground that want him to like have sex with everybody.
Okay.
And you can find it for free on YouTube because no one cares about the copyright anymore.
When was this movie made?
This was made in 1970 something. I believe 1970 something. It was written by.
And is this like
what?
Is this like a legitimately good movie, or is it like a goofy movie?
It's a good movie. If you're, it's a good. I think it's a good movie because I'm a fan of Harleen Ellison. Harleen Ellison.
Okay.
And there's a lot of subtext in the movie that if you're not looking for it, you're not gonna find it.
Okay.
There's a lot of subtext in the movie, mostly about breakdown. It's mostly just breaking down the different components of society.
Okay.
I know that's not a very compelling reason to watch
Yeah.
it. That's why I started off with horny kid and his
With
telepathic
horny
psycho dog.
Yeah. I mean, I got nothing but time right now, and there's no end in sight yet for this coronavirus thing, so...
I don't expect it to end until July. I expect this thing to go on, especially with, like, the half measures on public safety that are going on right now. And, like, this idea, man, I'm really honestly trying to not be negative about it. I really am, for your sake.
Then let's change the subject.
But god damn it, people need to take this fucking thing seriously. It's not going to go away because you don't, I know there are people out there that are like, well, can't we just not worry about it? Like, are we done with the virus yet? It's like, it's not going to go away because you're bored. It's a virus.
This isn't a trend. Like, this just gonna...
This isn't a hashtag.
No, it's not gonna get replaced in a week. This is like an actual... Like, that's the issue, is the short attention spans are starting to settle in. They're like, all right, well, like, this was trending last week. What's new? It's like, there's not new. This is the real deal now. This isn't like someone said something stupid and we're gonna make fun of it for a week. This is an actual serious issue.
Yeah, this is not another Trump gaffe. This is like, an actual world event.
Yeah, well, at first, I was like, all right, are we going a little overboard here? Now I'm like, all right, you know what? Go overboard at this point. Like, because earlier I was kind of like, is this actually as bad? Because I was still waiting for, like, the cases were getting bad, but in relevance to, like, the death toll, we've had worse before, but also the official numbers aren't out yet. So, like, we know what the numbers are for something because it's over with, and we're done with it. But we don't know what the end of this is going to look like. So it could spike, and it would be horrible.
Well, that's the thing a lot of people don't quite understand about a pandemic, about a disease, is that it's not a thing where we hit a peak and then it goes away. Like, what's likely going to happen is we're going to peak in 2 or 3 weeks, right? Then the cases are going to start going down, and then we're going to peak again because people are going to go like, okay, it's over, and they're going to go out, and it's going to spread, and it's going to peak, and then it's going to go down, and then it's going to peak right back up, and it's going to be like this gradual, hill and valley thing until either everyone who gets it, gets it and then they're immune, or they get it, or we come up with a vaccine. Now, on the plus side, and this is one of the few points of good news, coronaviruses are, like SARS corona, are genetically stable. They don't mutate as often, which means any vaccine that we come up with will last longer.
Yeah, plus isn't like a good amount of it like similar to vaccines that we already have made, so it's not like we're starting from 0, we're starting from like 66.
We're still it's more like we're starting from 20. So there's like this thing going on online where it's like we have a vaccine for some coronaviruses for animals, but like the key word is like they're for animals. The same vaccine that works in a cow isn't going to work.
Not going to work with us
in a person. Like, it's right. If we were maybe inoculating orangutans for the virus, then we might be able to reverse that. But a cow and a person, they're similar in that they're mammals.
Mm-hmm.
It's It's like medicine for a rabbit isn't going to be the same as medicine for a person.
Well, there's the good news, everybody. Silver lining. We're not starting from nothing. We're starting from a little bit.
We're
so
starting. There's good news. We're not starting from nothing. It's not as deadly as it could have been.
Yeah.
It could have. This could have been something really bad. Like, this could have been airborne fucking Ebola.
Oh, fuck
with
that.
like an 80% fatality rate, and if you get it, your nuts are just going to be like horribly painful lumps for the rest of your life.
And the other good part is that, like, it doesn't seem... I mean, like, I'm not trying to, split hairs here or anything, but younger people seem to be pretty all right with it. Like, as long as we're not assholes about it, though. Like, if I don't feel symptoms, then I don't know why I have to stay indoors. Like, no, just... Because we're not trying to kill other people, idiot.
Young people can still die from this.
But, like, don't they have to have, like, a lot of pre-existing, like,
no,
issues?
There was actually a case of I think it was a football player in Washington. No pre-existing conditions, teenager. Perfect health, died.
Really?
Yeah. For most of the cases, most of them, you have a mild version of the virus. And mild, in this case, is not the same as mild for like a cold. A mild version of corona is still really shitty.
Yeah, but aren't there, like... Isn't there cases where you could just not, like, you could just have it and not show symptoms?
Yeah, there are cases where people can have it and be asymptomatic and still be carriers.
Right.
Like, so that's why...
But the other thing that... This is the only issue, is that the only other thing I don't hear people talking enough about is the recovery rate. Because there are a huge amount of people who recover from it.
Yeah, I mean... You recover,
like,
but it's still
I mean, like,
bad.
It's still... I'm not saying it's not bad, but I'm saying that, like, I think there's a huge amount of people who only hear infected and death, and they don't hear recovered. And I'm not saying that, like, that's a number that should be said so we can go back to not being quarantined. I'm just saying that maybe to, so we can still have shelves of toilet paper at the store.
Well, okay,
like,
the toilet paper hoarding I don't understand. Like,
the problem is that people assume that we're going to be stuck at home and we're not going to be going to the store. Like, they don't realize that those stores are going to remain open.
Oh, yeah, we're still open. We're dying, but we're still open.
Like, you got to also understand that there was a good amount of the population that thought that they can't drink Corona beer anymore. So
yeah, some people are fucking dumb.
The toilet paper is going to get hoarded. Now, the reason why, and I don't understand why you can't just, like, fucking, hose off your asshole in the shower after you shit. Like, is that going to be a big deal? Just hose it off. The Japanese literally have it built into their fucking toilets.
Jake,
we can't just,
quote 2020, why can't you just hose off your asshole?
You gotta get the paper, dude. Save the trees, man. Just hose off your asshole.
Well, they have bidets. Like, that's a thing.
Yeah.
But
that's why I said the Japanese built it into their fucking toilets. I don't know why we have such issues.
Japanese toilets are like... most of them are like squatting toilets.
That's how you don't get corona. Sharing toilet seats.
Well, that would... there's something to be said about a toilet that is not as comfortable as a Western toilet, so you're not tempted to, like, sit on there for hours on your phone.
Yeah. Just get in, get it out of you, and get out.
There's also some, and I know I'm getting off on, like, a weird toilet tangent, but I have read that toilet seats are really bad for your circulatory system because of the way your ass kind of conforms to them. It, like, creates these pressure points right along the edges of your thighs that have the potential to cut off, like, arteries and cause blood clots, which you don't get if you're squatting. because that's a natural position for the human body to take.
Well, there you go, everybody.
So there you go. Everybody squat over your toilet.
If you weren't already worried about if you already not worried about a virus and shit and all the toilet paper being gone, you can also damage your asshole because you're sitting on the toilet.
Now you can like get a prolapsed anus from sitting on the toilet too long.
There you go. There you go, everybody.
I don't know. It happened to an astronaut on the in the space shuttle one time. The space shuttle toilet had a system where it would flush the waste into space. But on one mission there was a valve that got stuck open, so an astronaut's butt was actually exposed to the vacuum of space.
No.
So what happened was his ass was the only thing that was keeping the rest of the crew cabin from depressurizing.
Jesus Christ.
So they had to take apart the toilet with him on top of it to fix the valve. Or the entire mission would have had to have been scrubbed.
Dude, fuck that. Fuck that. So anyway,
I mean, I guess,
let's talk not about butts anymore.
What gets me is that they were flushing it into orbit. Which means there's like
God.
shit in orbit right now.
Ew. That's actually kind of funny.
There's shit in orbit. We could have a satellite like taken out by a turd that's been floating in space since the 80s.
Oh my god, that's fucking awesome. That's fucking awesome. I hope that happens. That would be so funny.
Now would be the time.
Now would be the time.
Now would be the time for Kessler syndrome to kick up and we lose all telecommunications.
Dude, I'm honestly, here's a practice right here. Everyone's talking about social distancing. I'm doing social media distancing. Whoa. There you go, everybody. There's a new one for you. Shut off your fucking smartphones and just sit and watch something or whatever. I don't know.
Shut off your electronic device and sit in front of your other electronic device.
Okay, boomer. I fucking hate that too.
Man, back in my day, it was TV. TV was rotting the brains.
Did you see the thing I did though, where it was like, can we just like overcorrect after this and bring back drive-ins and soda shops?
Well, drive-in theaters have started to have a boom recently.
I could see how that would be a thing now. You just sit in your car and go to the movies.
I don't think soda shops are coming back, but I could see drive-ins.
That would be so cool. I think that's a thing that needs to like, there's a certain part of a lifestyle from the 50s that should come back, like excluding the racism part.
Yeah, good save.
Like, get rid of that part, but like, just kind of the, like, we drive around in our cars, go to the movie, like drive-in movie theater, go to Makeout Point. What happened to all the Makeout Points? Was that just the thing that was fabricated from the movies, or is there actually like Makeout Points at one point?
I believe that actually was fabricated.
All right.
Like I
can't imagine.
When I think of like a Makeout Point, all I can think of is like, here's a spot where things have happened and threats have been made, and no one talks about it. Like, I am cynical in a different way. I look at the stuff like looking back at like the things that people are nostalgic for, and I'm like, I bet you that really wasn't all. Bet you it really wasn't. I bet you there was some sick shit going on. It's like driving around. Like, you want to drive around in your electric car. Good. You do that. You're going to drive all day long in your electric vehicle, go all over the place, go to your soda shop, go to your drive-in, in your electric vehicle. Okay. Fine. But all the unbridled kind of, driving around all the time, nonstop in like inefficient lead gas guzzling vehicles is what got us like the pollution levels of the 70s and 80s that no one likes to talk about.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. I'm like, shh.
There are aspects of the past that are good that we now have the technology to bring back in a safe way. But there are aspects of the past that need to stay in the past, buried, forgotten, being eaten by worms.
So why can't they make electric cars look good, though? Because I hate the way all electric cars look. They all look fucking stupid.
Oh, that's design. That's just design.
Yeah.
That's got nothing.
Can they stop? I was going to say, like, they all look terrible. Can they just, like, is that something that they have to look like a fucking Nerf football?
I don't know. I like some of them. I like the new Tesla.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I don't see the appeal of Teslas. They look like fucking too standard to me.
I like
cars
Tesla.
with flair.
I like the new DMC, the new DeLorean.
Wait, there's a new DeLorean?
Yeah, I shared it. Remember, you said you liked it. I said I said I would be okay with the time machine looking like this.
Hold on. I'm gonna type in new DeLorean car.
It looks like a spaceship. Like, it looks like something you'd go to the moon in.
Is there, like... Am I looking for... Is it on their website?
Yeah, we're in that article. This is the part that people are going to click away from. This is like, okay, well, I don't see no pictures.
Hey, everybody listening along. Look this up with me. Go to the DeLorean website, as I'm doing. And there's a coming soon section. Newly arriving DeLorean cars. I can't believe this is coming back.
DeLorean confirms plan to redesign and produce new line of DMC.
Wait, where's is there like a concept car right now?
I think this is the car, the design they're going to go for, yeah.
Should be... CNET says new DeLorean should be ready by fall of 2021.
Good, they're taking their time.
Come, I still can't see a fucking picture of it.
Go to Google Images then.
Is that like actually accurate, or is that just somebody playing with Photoshop?
No, that's accurate.
Sometimes I don't trust that.
I don't trust media.
I don't trust media. It's all fake news.
I don't like.
See, there's like 8 different designs. Which one is the one?
It's the one that looks like a spaceship.
All the fucking ones look like spaceships. It looks cool, I guess. I don't fucking know. Look it up yourselves.
You know what it looks like? It looks like it looks like a cool mouse.
Okay, I think I'm looking at it right now.
It looks like a cool computer mouse.
All right, that's a Maserati. I don't know why this is showing up.
Like a cool, dangerous.
This is why I don't trust the internet. The first thing I typed in new DeLorean concept, and the first thing it showed me is a fucking Maserati.
Does it have the DMC logo on it?
I guess not. What is this?
If it's got the
DMC... I can't tell if this is real.
DMC logo on it, it's DeLorean.
All right, I just give up. Sorry, everybody listening.
You gotta shove the Mr. Fusion in it.
All right, anyway.
Then it can run on garbage.
Fuck this. This is stupid.
Like your old phone.
All right, so listen here. Make electric... All right, here's the thing we fix, right? We look at all the things that were great, and we get rid of all the things that sucked. The car designs in the 50s were fucking awesome.
Oh, they sucked.
The fucking... No, they didn't. Shut up.
Oh, I hate the car. The car designs of the 50s are so... They're so like... There's a reason why we don't make them like that anymore. It's because
there's a reason why everyone's because...
You can't handle a curve in a car that's the size of a fucking aircraft carrier.
Meanwhile, they had a fucking, like, sofa in the front seat and the back seat. Remember when cars used to have seats that felt like a fucking couch?
Yeah, I remember that. That was back when people used to die all the time in accidents until they mandated that they have seat belts.
All right, well, you can put the seat belts on the couch.
Okay, well, yeah.
I'll tell you right now. There's an old white pickup truck that's still in our family. It's from like 1990, and It's been passed around from different family members in my family. That was one of the couch cars, and it has seatbelts.
Okay, well, that's from the 90s. That's a whole
I don't
40
care.
years
So
removed
there
from
you
the
go.
50s.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
No, listen, there
Corrected
you go.
me.
What I'm saying is, you take the bad stuff and the good stuff. The car look awesome. No seatbelts, bad thing. What do you do? Put the fucking seatbelt in it. Problem solved. Now it's a great car. Oh, what? It runs on electricity also? Boom!
They had to mandate seatbelts. You know, it took originally the auto industry did not want to add in seatbelts, and it took a massive, like, I think it was like a 10, 15 car pileup that killed like 50
Get
people.
it. They're evil people. I get it. They're evil fucking people. But what I'm saying is the cars were not evil. They were nice, bright, baby blue.
Ugh.
Look, there was like baby blue car. There was like baby blue cars with pink on them.
Ew! What the fuck kind of color scheme is that?
I'm just saying there were these like really bright, vibrant cars. They looked awesome. Everybody that wasn't, everybody that was white was very happy. And like, if we just applied the 2020 logic that other people can also be happy and we should let them be happy. And we brought these kind of cars back, and maybe McDonald's actually had like the little roof on them instead of looking like gray slabs of fucking concrete. Then like the world would be a happy. Dude, McDonald's looks like fucking depressing now.
It looks like
remember when McDonald's was? It looks like an Apple store, and I hate it.
See, I like the new McDonald's. It doesn't feel like I'm walking into a playpen anymore.
No, I like when it was like a little restaurant, had a nice roof on it, and it was like, you go there, you're eating poison, but it's a nice atmosphere.
Poison.
Like, it's a nice atmosphere to get poisoned.
Originally, like, the quality of the food that you'd get at McDonald's actually wasn't bad. It was as the company... The quality of McDonald's food steadily went downhill until kind of recently, and then it started to pick up. Because they kept looking for cheaper and cheaper sources of, like, slime.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they could cook the slime.
Yeah,
you ever eat slime?
No, I really wouldn't like to.
Well, that's what the patties are made of. They're made of the slime.
Oh my god, 15 cents for hamburgers back then. Look, it was such a nice looking little establishment there. These big giant arches that fucking penetrated the roof.
There's a place in Burlington, actually. There's a McDonald's in Burlington, North Carolina that has that same retro design.
Yeah.
Like with the arches that go into the roof and everything. They even
There's
have
one that there was one in Florida that I used to go to all the time. When I went to visit my grandparents down there, and yeah, they did the exact same thing.
They even had like the old mascot, the angry Burger Man.
Oh yeah,
the angry.
Like it's this little guy. He's holding up the 15-cent sign.
Yeah, and he's like, "Eat me! I don't want to live."
Now it's not even a clown anymore. Like you never see Ronald McDonald anymore.
Yeah, that's because people realize he's fucking creepy.
No, he was a nice clown. He had a really,
nice clown.
Really shitty. He was fine, and then you know what happened was 2016 happened, where people dressed up as clowns, chasing people with like axes for a little while, and then they were like, "Well, we better pull this." People aren't liking clowns anymore.
It was that the food was being targeted to kids, and we had the whole obesity problem because people kept shoveling food in faces, and the clown was like, shove more food in his face."
Dude, they're a business. If you're gonna order a fucking million burgers, they're gonna give you a million burgers. It's it's up to you to be accountable to what the fuck you're eating.
They had like a purple alien thing.
Oh, the big purple testicle.
Which fun fact, Grimace originally had like 6 arms and a dozen legs.
Could you imagine how fucking nightmare fuel that must have been?
And they cut them all off, and then he just had like the 2 and the 1, and now I think he just works in accounting. Like, you want to talk about how we never see Ronald McDonald anymore. We never see the Hamburglar anymore.
Well, that was promoting crime.
We never see Grimace anymore. We never see the duck lady, the duckling, the chick.
Oh, I remember that
chick lady. I could never figure out what kind of bird she was supposed to be.
You know what they used to have? They used to have these really great cookies at McDonald's. I remember used to getting these like this bag of cookies.
They still do
They were
here.
all in the shit. They do? I
Yeah.
never see them.
Yeah,
Like I see that they have like the bakery style chocolate chip cookies now, but they don't have that like bag of like it was a little bag. I think they were like little sugar cookies, and they were all in the shape of like the mascots.
I don't know. I wasn't really big into McDonald's as a kid, so I might not be.
I used to
remembering
love that place as a kid. Like that was like because there was one by me in New York that had a giant playground in it, and that was like the thing to do was went to McDonald's. No, you know what it was? The one in New York, right near my house when I used to live there, had literal GameCubes in it, and you could play GameCube games
I do
in the
remember
playroom.
those. I remember those.
That was awesome. That was a perfect idea.
I tell you one thing that I'm really glad isn't coming back, and I hope it stays like dead once it finally dies. Is a fucking ball pit.
I used to love the ball pit,
Ball
but
pits,
that's just disease ridden.
Ball pits are fucking gross.
Yeah, they're gross. Like thinking about it now, they're gross.
The idea that I can even count on my hand the number of times that as a child that I ran into actual turds in a ball pit.
Yeah, used to be like poop covered balls in there because kids didn't know how to fucking control themselves.
Oh, and then they'd sneeze on the ball, and like the balls would get all crusty.
Yeah.
And like looking back on it now, I used to do this thing where I'd bury myself in the balls to like hide from people. And
yeah, I think every
kid
now, did that.
It's like I might as well have been burying myself in fucking cat litter.
It's probably why everybody as a kid got pink eye at some point.
Oh god, they were horrible.
Yeah.
And like the number of times I stepped on some kid's face because they were down in the balls. And what was worse is and like in theory, like if you have your own ball pit, then I guess it's okay because it's like just you. But then eventually dust gets in there, and they get like
how do you clean it?
I guess you dump them out and you hose them off. I have no idea.
It's so tedious.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that sounds great until you've had it for a little bit.
Yeah.
A ball pit is like a mild cold. You know? Oh, cool. I'm sick, but I'm not super sick, so I can take some time off and enjoy myself. But then you have that mild cold for like 2 weeks, and you've run out of sick days, and you have to go back to work, and you still have the mild cold, and you're fucking miserable. Like, have you ever been sick? Like, not like debilitatingly sick, but like just kind of sick for a month?
I don't think so. There was a time where I was camping and I had to like have a park ranger let me go home because I got so like I was at the campsite and after 9 p.m. they closed the front gate of the campsite because they don't want like people coming in at like 2 a.m. And I got like really sick all of a sudden to the point where I couldn't even open my eyes, and they like had the park rangers had to come and like let me leave. And that was not fun because I was out of commission for about 2 weeks after that because I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me. It was like right at the tail end of the spring too, and I just became fucking disgusting. I don't know what was going on.
During my during my junior year of high school, in November of that my junior year, I got like a mild flu. And I swear I had that mild flu all the way into January. Like that that whole 2-3 month stretch, it was just like wake up, can't breathe through my nose, have to like breathe through my mouth, constantly like my eyes are constantly watering, constantly fatigued, and it was just like that for 3 fucking months. And I remember by like getting back from that was the worst, going through Christmas break with that, and I was just like, God damn it, just fucking kill me. Like, just God, why is this? It's like stalemate. There's like no man's land inside my throat, and no one can get the advantage.
That sucks.
So anyway, having a ball pit, I feel like is the physical equivalent of that.
It's the ground zero for any shit like that.
If I had a ball pit though, I would want a 6-foot deep ball pit.
Oh jeez.
So I could I could sink down into it, and just be stuck in it, and just be stuck in the ball.
You know, there's a story from my childhood with a play place in a Burger King up the road from where I'm at now, where in North Carolina. My dad used to take me and my next door neighbor there all the time, and it was around Halloween, and we found like some used candy wrappers, like opened, like kids ate candy in there and they left the wrappers in there. So he told my dad, he just made up this really fucking stupid ghost story about how there was this kid who stole all of the Halloween candy from his friends, and he ran to the Burger King and hid in the play place and ate it. And he got so fat from eating all of it that he got stuck in the tubes, but no one was there, so he died in the tubes, and they had to like cut him out of there, and then he haunts the playground. And I was like, why are you telling me this?
It's like Augustus Gloop.
Yeah, he called the kid Fat Kid, and he was like, Fat Kid haunts these tubes or whatever.
See, I was never worried about like a scary story. My biggest fear was because my brother and I we had these woods in the back of our house. Mm-hmm. And it's like a solid 15 acres of nothing but forest. And we'd go down there sometimes, especially during the summer, and just like build a fire and like make these forts. Mm-hmm. And my brother used to like to stay out there like really late. And one of my fears growing up was being out there and like him sneaking off and like while it was about to become really dark and leaving me in the woods in the dark.
That's fucking evil.
Because like when it got dark there, especially since it's just like these big trees, right? They block all the light. So when it's night in the woods, it is fucking pitch black.
Dude, that fucking sucks.
And that happened to me one time. I was out there and I was like racing to get up the hill because it was getting darker and darker and darker, and I was like, I do not want to be stuck in these woods at 11 o'clock at night or 10, like crawling my way up this fucking hill. Because it was like, because it was a dense forest, like it was a rural area, there were animals out there. So when night came along, you hear like,
yeah.
like some fucking badger trying to take a big dump, but from a distance it sounds like some kind of SCP animal fucking thing.
Blair Witch.
Oh god, the worst thing that I ever did was watch that movie as like a 9-year-old was watch that movie and then be out in the woods during dusk.
Oh my god, that must have been fucking creepy.
Oh, or like my brother's room was down in the basement, so I had to like cross because we had this big basement. My parents' house has this big basement, so to get to the stairs to get up to the second floor, I have to go from his door all the way through this like big, empty, often like just dark, just pitch black space to get to the stairs. And the little motherfucker, what he would do is we'd be playing PlayStation 1 because he had a PlayStation. Yeah. And we'd be like, okay, it's like 12 o'clock. I want to go to bed. And I'm like, I don't want to, like, you know, can't we just stay up until the sun's out again?
Yeah, I don't want to walk through the dark.
And it's like, no, get out of my room, man. So I get out of this room and, like, I'd either gun it for the stairs or I would walk very slowly and like very alert. And what he would do is he would sneak out of his room. Like he'd turn off his lights and sneak out of his room. And the basement was dark, right? but it wasn't so dark that you can't see anything. So I'd see him in like a corner, but it would just be the shape. This vaguely human shape. And he'd be like...
It's fucking evil.
Oh, it was so goddamn evil.
I got my next door neighbor really good once, because it was around Halloween and he was over at my house and we were watching a marathon of the Friday the 13th movies, and we were about like 14 years old. And my dad had this habit of scaring the shit out of him every time he ran home, because there's a good small distance between our houses. It's still next door, but there's enough for like, it's not like hugging each other houses. So he whenever he would leave my house one day or every night, whatever, my dad would run around the back of the house and like try to scare him on his way over to his house, because there's this giant hedge like right between the two houses. So there was that night that he watched all the movies, and he's like, I'm not leaving until I see Mr. Pat standing there. Before I even come over, like, leave, I don't want to even think that he's running around the house. I want to see him at the door so I know that I'm safe to go home. And as he was doing that, I put my Jason mask on and grabbed my fake machete and ran around the side of the house. So he starts walking. I scream. He sees me, darts for the house, and like the door was locked. So he's like banging and scratching at the door at like 11 at night to his house. And I'm like laughing my ass off on his driveway, because I wasn't even chasing him anymore. And he ended up, there was a Happy Halloween wreath on his door, and he like turned around and like, I'm not even near him, just in the sheer panic, he just grabbed it off his door and just threw it behind him trying to hit me. Like, because he didn't know it was me. He's just in sheer panic. And I found out what happened was he ran into his door and he kneed the like handle and he broke the lock to the door with his knee.
Oh shit.
So they had to like replace the whole lock on his door. That was a great moment. That was a good scare. I like that one. That was a good one. Have you seen that film theory thing for Blair Witch?
No. Oh, you mean the one where they brought her out to murder her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Like, I think that's a really good one. Like, I usually think his like theories are kind of stupid at times, but like, that was a really good one, and like now I like the movie better.
The only thing about that theory is, like, in the canon of the movie, they were never seen again.
All three of them?
Yeah. So if they brought her out there to kill her, they must have, like, then hightailed it to Mexico or something.
Does it say that in the movie, or is it just, like, thought that... Like, no. Does it ever say that? No, right?
Yeah, they do. It's like the three students go missing in the woods.
What does it say that in the movie?
It's at the start.
Oh.
Or, they're still out there. Which I guess they'd be like two 40-year-old dudes hiding in the woods.
I don't know. It does make some semblance of sense, though, that this found footage was found in the murder house that nobody goes into and aren't supposed to go into because the witch will get them. It's like, well, then how was it found if it was never so, like...
I guess the murder house is a little bit less intimidating if you're in a group of, like, 20 cops.
I guess so. I don't know. I thought that was such a good film theory that I was like, damn, that makes me like the movie so much more. Because a lot of that made a lot of sense. But that's whatever.
Another good film theory. I'm trying to remember what it is. I don't know. I got into Legal Eagle.
Legal?
I'm sorry. I'm like eating. I probably shouldn't be eating.
Yeah, it's not the best.
There's this guy, there's this lawyer called Legal Eagle.
Oh, okay.
And he did like a breakdown of the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory thing.
Oh, was it like all of like the health codes that it breaks?
Health codes, assault, attempted murder,
I think I've
probable
seen that one.
murder. And he's
I
like,
think
yeah,
I've seen that.
Willy Wonka's probably getting about 200, 250 years in prison. And Charlie, once he gets this factory, he's gonna have like the taxes associated with the factory. And since he's got bodies and like all these health code violations,
And
like
he's like,
he's probably gonna he's Willy Wonka probably just ruined this little kid.
yeah. Plus, he has to like answer for all those like native he took off an island and enslaved them into the
that was
factory.
another thing he charged Willy Wonka with, slavery.
Yeah, he just kidnapped a bunch of like people from an island and just made them work or whatever.
Now we got to repatriate all these people. It's like, yeah, this is the equivalent of having a bunch of migrant laborers chained up in a meat processing plant.
Yeah, you know what? That movie's a lot better when you're just watching it with childhood wonder,
And
not realism. Like, you don't think about all the taxes and shit that the kid has to inherit. Like, this is all yours at the age of 8. Or whatever, how old the fuck he was in that movie.
Yeah, and you know nothing about running a factory like this, so...
Just discovered masturbating, so...
You just found out how dick work.
Oh, man.
My balls just dropped, and now I'm a billionaire!
What, you mean this whole factory is mine?
What am I gonna do with all the orange people? But this is like the 50s or the 40s. Actually, I'm not even sure what year this was supposed to be taking place. I think 50s.
Look it the fuck up right now.
So this is the 50s. So he's gonna. I'm just thinking of all the retrograde opinions the grandpa probably had that we never have to see.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know about the orange people, Charlie.
I don't consider them citizens or humans.
Probably send them back to China or wherever they come from.
Or wherever these little dudes came from.
Send them back to the Orient, Charlie.
They're all short, Charlie. I don't consider them fully human.
They got problems with their hips.
I don't know what's going on there, and their hair is all swirly and weird. They don't look like us, therefore I don't think they should have the things that we have because they don't look like us.
Speaking of Rick Sanchez, have you seen the trailer for Justin Roiland's new comedy thing?
I think it looks awesome. I think it looks good.
I hope it doesn't become like Rick and Morty, but also aliens.
Yeah, because there is that like older guy that kind of sounds like Rick, and he kind of seems like the straight shooter more. Like all right, Morty, let's hope we don't get arrested for this.
Yeah, we gotta get away before we get arrested for this shit.
I do like the guy. I do like the opening joke in the thing though, where he's like jacking a car from somebody and like running over everything just to tell his family that they don't have noses. I thought that was pretty funny.
I like how he hits like a random ostrich.
It's like a random ostrich. But I agree. I don't know why, and I don't know why we're waiting for a second half of a season right now for Rick and Morty too. Like, I don't know why they can't just.
Would you rather have? Okay, here's the thing. Would you rather have, like weekly episodes for a month and a half at the start of the year, and then weekly episodes for a month and a half at the end of the year, or would you rather wait 2 weeks for an episode all year?
How many episodes are you saying comes out?
Oh, good question. Good question. So there's 55 weeks in a year, right?
Yeah. There's 52.
There's 52. So if you cut that in half, that's 27. 2021, not 27, but 2026. So, I guess if you had, but Rick and Morty seasons, they tend to be like 15 episodes, 13 episodes.
There are 10 episodes.
Okay, you know what? That's an old thing that I think we should bring back. Seasons that actually have episodes in them.
Yeah, because
and not like 10 episodes.
Like the Simpsons still do that. They still put like 23 episodes in a season. But then like they're also garbage now, so
I think a show should have like I think a good size for a season is 15.
Yeah, that's what like old South Park used to do.
Yeah, 15 to 18 episodes in a season. And then you build into your show, and this is what I'm seeing a lot of shows now do, especially a lot of good shows like The Good Place.
Mm-hmm.
You build into your season that once we hit this point, it ends.
Yeah, you don't run it into the ground. You know there. That's the good thing about what was that one show that was like a Disney cartoon?
Oh God, dude, that's
like
you
but
just
like
named
people
500
said
shows.
No, there was like a cartoon that I keep seeing everybody saying like was in the same like kind of universe as Rick and Morty because the creators were friends.
Gravity Falls.
Yeah, they left at a good they left when their story was over.
Yeah, they did the story and then it's done, and they didn't like grind it into the fucking dirt.
Yeah,
just like mortar and pedestal the shit into it. It's like a show like South Park, I think, could probably, with the right people at the helm, probably go on forever because it's topical.
Well, South Park does the genius thing because they are the ones that do the 6-day for an episode thing, and they just are so relevant. Like, now it's become just such a thing where it's like, what's the thing that's going on? Let's make fun of it. And it's always, fucking still funny. It's still funny. I still see myself, like, in tears, like, watching that show. One of the season finale ones, they had Randy, Jesus, and Santa doing cocaine with each other, and they're like, "Oh, this shit's good. This shit's real good." And I was just like, "This is fucking hilarious."
It's willing to cross a line that South Park sits, I think, right in the middle between, like, it's willing to cross lines and deal with topics that The Simpsons can't really do because of their position and their target audience. But I
don't know when The Simpsons changed their target audience because it was not a kid's show.
No, it was never a kid's show.
But now it's a kid's show. Like, they keep talking about it like it's a kid's show.
I don't think it's a kid's show right now either. I just think it's become
I don't either.
Staple.
The thing, I guess so. The issue with it is that I guess it's because I see those videos where it's like, oh, top 10 dirtiest jokes in kids shows, and then it shows the Simpsons thing, and I'm like,
yeah,
they outright like they showed Bart's wiener in the movie. Like, what the fuck?
I think I don't know. I don't know. I kind of went through a peak and valley where I'm like, okay, The Simpsons is gonna go on, and it's probably just gonna go on forever. And then I was like, okay, they need to end this shit. And now I think I'm going back up to where, you know what, just fucking keep going. Let's have 100.
At this point,
have 100 seasons of this shit.
Yeah, at this point, I'm like, so I watched an episode recently. I watched 3 episodes recently, 3 new ones. One was absolutely horrible. I was just like, this is not funny. I'm not entertained. I want to shut this off. I don't care about it. And then there was another episode that was like, that was actually pretty good. There was good jokes in it, and the story was decent. It felt like older Simpsons. And then there was another one where it was kind of like right in the middle. I think that's where we're going to get with Simpsons now. We're going to have hit like a really close to hit, a really terrible episode, and it's something that's just passable.
And I like, as time has gone on, the pasts of the characters have started to like shift by now decades. Because
Yeah.
I have like the first 24 seasons on a Google Drive.
Right.
Oops, shouldn't have said that. But
I
was
I
watching.
actually am staring at all my box sets of the series right now.
Oh, ooh la la!
I actually have the DVDs.
So I was watching a season 2 episode that was like dealing with like Homer's childhood, right? And the way
Yeah.
they frame it, it's like, yeah, he grew up during the 50s. All right, so he went to college in like the 70s or the 60s or something. But I saw an episode from the 24th season where they were dealing with Homer's like childhood again, and now it's like, yeah, Homer was a kid during the same time period that The Simpsons first aired.
Yeah,
So now
isn't that weird?
Now he's growing up in the 70s and going to college in the 80s. And now
there was that
he's like going to college in the 90s. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, he's going to catch up to Bart.
Yeah, there's like that whole thing where it's what is it? There was like the episode where they showed Homer and Marge first meeting, and it was like the middle of the 70s, and they were in high school, and they went to prom together. But then like fast forward like 19 seasons, and they show them breaking up in college, and it's in the 90s because Homer starts a grunge band, and it's like there's a whole decade between those that doesn't make any sense. Like, how do they go to high school in like 1976, and then they were in college together, or like Marge was in college while Homer was working at like 1996? There's like a whole 20-year gap between that. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
And what it's
like The Simpsons.
Yeah.
What were you say?
Well, it's like what it's meant is that there's a bunch of characters in The Simpsons now that are completely superfluous. Like there's no room for Krusty the Clown, because at this point Bart is growing up in the 2010s. No one
Right.
there's no clown shows.
No.
You know, there's not even on PBS. I just did a stint over at UNC TV, and I was looking at their lineup while I was in the control room, and it's like there's no clown shows. That's something that died in the very early 90s, and it made sense for Krusty the Clown to exist like back then because there was like Lamb Chop and I think some weird Bozo derivative or something. But now it's like, where the fuck is Krusty coming from? Why does he have a Krusty phone? Shouldn't he have been growing up with Minecraft and some other shit?
Yeah, it does. It is kind of weird now that you say that. Because it is there's a lot of dated things in there that just don't fit with the culture, but the character like would end up, iconic characters would have to leave, like you said with Krusty. And because how would Bart, why would Bart go to watch TV with a clown when he could just YouTube something crazy?
Why would Bart
there's no
go
point.
to TV period?
Yeah, exactly. That's the other issue, is that the Simpsons are like now a completely different family than they were back then. Like, and this is the other thing too, which is so weird, because there was an episode I was just recently watching, because I was trying to watch these box sets to see which discs I fucked up as a kid because I was an idiot back then. And there's an episode where Bart like drops a cherry bomb in the toilet, and Skinner's mother's visiting, and it kind of blows out all the toilets, and he gets in trouble for it or something. And I was like, well, okay, that seems like a product of the time. But then there was another episode I just recently watched, like one of the newest ones, and Bart's hanging out with Grandpa Simpson, and he pulls a joke on Bart because he knows Bart's like a little demon kid or whatever, and he like, oh, Bart, I want you to have this, and he pulls out like this old grenade that he kept from the war, quote unquote, and he goes, all you have to do is not pull the pin out, but he like pulls the pin out and it's a dud grenade, so the joke is, oh, it's gonna blow, duck for cover, and it doesn't blow up. So Bart's like, Grandpa, you just gave me the greatest thing ever. He brings the fucking grenade to school and does the trick at school, and like the school doesn't go into lockdown like it would today. Like, I know it probably would have back then too, but like the cherry bomb back then in the toilet seems so much more like, okay, that could have happened back then. But I couldn't believe Bart bringing this dud grenade to school and pulling the pin at an assembly in the auditorium without like this on-duty school cop taking him out with a gun. Like
the on-duty school SWAT team storming in and pounding him into like dust.
Right. Like, and then he doesn't go to jail afterwards.
Oh, like, God. Yeah, he would have... Yeah.
Like, you just can't... Bart can't be Bart anymore.
No, he really can't. Or at least he can, but the level to which Bart would have to go to be, like, the same kind of character means he'd have to be so much more malicious. Like
now
pranks...
they make Bart very... Now they make Bart very impressionable to, like, YouTube stars. So, like, they do, which is very painful to watch because they'll do... A recent episode I also watched was they were showing, this, like, YouTuber who does these challenge videos. But it's written by, like, 50-year-olds. So it's very cringy. And then they write a kid getting, like, inspired by it. But it's also written by 50-year-olds. So it's just all very cringy. And it's like, this is what Bart does now. He's impressionable by YouTube stars, so he wants to be like a YouTube star. Which makes sense in the sense that that's how you write Bart's character today. But it doesn't make sense because it's written by people who didn't grow up with it and don't know the culture. So it's like just very off-putting. And it's like, can you just make this stop, please?
Well, remember when South Park did that? When they did the episode with the Olong Johnson cat.
Oh yeah,
remember that? And then there was like this Olong Johnson challenge where people would stand in like potentially dangerous situations and try.
Yeah,
and
but
say,
it was funny because the people would like get smashed by a train.
Yeah, they do that.
That was the comedy of it. The comedy of it was that this is really stupid. Stop doing it because people are like stupidly dying.
But now
and that was the comedy of it.
But now you've got the COVID challenge.
Oh my god!
Have you seen that?
Wait, is that a thing?
Yeah.
What is that?
There was a very unpopular, very, very short-lived online challenge called the Coronavirus Challenge, where people would go to like public toilets and lick the seats.
Oh, come on!
And like lick like things that are on the shelves.
This is honestly why I'm actually happy the disease is here now.
Well,
because now it's going to burn out all the fat that stupidity is.
The people that were doing it, a lot of them actually ended up getting the virus.
Well, no shit.
Fucking Darwin's up out of the simulation, like nodding at a computer screen.
All right, guys, we're gonna do the slicing up stomach challenge. We're gonna swallow these razor blades, and if your stomach doesn't get sliced up by these razor blades, then like you win the challenge. But then like all the people doing it are like leaking stomach fluids into the rest of their body because they just chopped up their stomach.
This is Mr. Beast, and today we're gonna do the seppuku challenge. All right,
seppuku challenge.
If you don't
like
die horribly, you win.
I like that. Yeah, that's fucking stupid. So yeah, I can see like again that South Park episode's what like 6 years old now, and it's still as relevant today.
Now, I think it's more like 11, 12 years old.
Jesus Christ! Wasn't
that
during like it was kind of like around an election year when that happened because they were.
It was around 2020. I think it was 2009. I think.
Was it the 2009 one?
Yeah, it's not a 2010 one because the Olong Johnson thing, that was, I think the latest that could have been was 2010.
That was when they were Faith Hilling, right?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. When did South Park Faith Hilling? I want to see when that came out.
Oh God! All right, so now we're doing a Google search again.
This is the fact checking.
Yeah, we're both looking up Faith Hilling, except I just looked up Faith Hill.
Oh, the air date for that episode was
2012.
2012.
Huh. Okay. So it's a little later than I meant than I remembered. That's
But
good.
they were still.
That means I'm not horribly old.
There you go. Plus, that's still like it still makes sense today.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Especially after what you just fucking told me.
There's only a few South Park episodes I think that miss the mark or don't really hold up.
The funniest one is the one that they like kind of went back on.
Oh, the Man Bear Pig.
Yeah, where they redid it and they're like, all right, maybe we should have listened.
Well, they didn't redo it. They apologized.
Yeah, that's what I said. They went back on it, like they made the first episode and then they like made the two-parter where it's like actually an issue and they have to go and like kiss Al Gore's ass for it. To get him to like, yeah, like. So yeah, then that's the good thing about that show is that the fucking writers will make fun of whatever, but then if they're like actually wrong, they'll correct themselves.
I think there was like one season where they tried to have a storyline.
That's what they've been. Yeah, their last few seasons have been like that, but there was one season where it was like super connected, and it didn't hit right. So they kind of kept the same formula, but they distanced the plot of the episodes more. If you know if that makes any sense. So like there were some episodes that were literally continuations of the last one, and you had to watch the last episode to understand everything in the next episode, and that didn't sit right with a lot of people. So they changed it where characters will have certain season arcs, but the individual episode plots will just kind of be like its own thing.
I wonder what like new episodes are going to be like with the virus. I really want to see that.
I don't know, but someone literally said that the other day. They said it's March right now, and do you know how much ammunition South Park has already for their next season?
We almost let's see this year 2020's really been a weird year. So we started off. We almost had a war with Iran.
Yeah.
Australia caught on fire.
Yeah.
And then we had
Kobe died.
Kobe died. We had the impeachment. We had we're in the middle of a presidential election, and now we have a global pandemic.
And it's only March.
Godzilla's gonna come up out of the fucking ocean. It would be really, what would really be like the icing on the cake on this whole thing would be if after this, like the rest of the year is as boring as shit.
It'd be even funnier if like April's boring. Like if this finishes in like let's just say it's a monthly basis because the coronavirus like it's been building for a couple months now, but like it kind of just all of a sudden went from 0 to 100 in March. And, like, in the terms of, like, all right, January was the World War III thing. February was the fire thing. March is the corona thing. And then, like, watch April just be, like, a completely different thing altogether. But, like, April's super boring. And then the rest of the year is just...
The grass. It's going to be a grass issue.
Where, like, all the grass is dying, and then, like, the cattle's dying because they can't eat the grass, so now we don't have... Then it's a meat shortage.
No, it's going to be, like a new breed of grass, a new invasive breed of grass that's a little bit harder and causing a bunch of problems with lawnmowers.
And then everyone's going to be like, wow, this is a lot better than the pandemic we were just in.
And then in May, fucking Cthulhu comes.
No, I think it'd be really funny if whenever the coronavirus dies down, and I'm just gonna comedically say in April when it dies down, as if it were a trend like everyone wants it to be. April's super fucking boring. Nothing happens. Like, we're all still just kind of like coming back to society after Corona. No one's campaigning. Nothing's happening. And then like May to December. is just the greatest shit ever. Like, oh, everyone won the lottery all of a sudden.
Somehow everybody won the lottery. Which I mean,
everyone got new shoes.
Hang on.
Like,
let me look into that, because we've actually had some seriously big lotteries, right? We've had three. So let's say for the sake of argument, I've got a calculator out here. Let's say we have a 3 billion like lotto. Like, we've had $3 billion Powerballs.
Yeah.
And I'm going to divide that by the current population of America, which is estimated to be around 300 million. Okay. That means if everybody won a $3 billion Powerball, that means everybody gets $10.
Hey, there we go.
It's not like, hey, you got $1,000, but hey, here's $10.
Go to Bojangles.
Yeah, go to Bojangles.
There you go.
Everybody, you can go to like a restaurant and not really have to worry about a tip.
Yeah, you go to a cheap restaurant and then you have you just tip your $10.
Go to Walmart or like go to Target and get that DVD that you've been thinking about getting, but I don't know, it's a DVD. Or like go to Walmart and get like a bunch of ice cream. Get $10.
Speaking about DVDs from Target, I actually got Jojo Rabbit from Target.
Yeah,
on Blu-ray.
We're selling it, yeah.
And I got one copy, and I came home, and someone had dragged either a knife or a razor across the outside of the case, right around where it actually snaps, and took the digital code out of it, and then put it back on the shelf as if nothing had happened.
Yeah.
So I brought it back, and the only other copy they had, luckily, didn't have the other thing. There was 2 copies when I went there. And luckily, the other one didn't have that issue. But I was just kind of like, wow, I think that happened because of the panic. Like, someone went to Target and said, I'm not paying for fucking movies. I'm going to be locked in my house. I'm going to slit all of these Blu-ray discs and take their digital codes.
Well, I mean, it's not a not smart thing to do.
People listening, don't do that.
Yeah, please don't fucking do that. I'm just saying that as far as theft goes, at least they weren't stealing the DVD.
Well, that's the thing, though, is if they steal the DVD, then they have to, like, have a DVD player, and I don't think a lot of people do that anymore. Like, I know their PS4 or whatever could do it, but, like, I think the digital code was like that because they think that they can get away with that easier than taking the disc, because then you have to think about, all right, I have to take the disc. I don't have a case for the disc. So now I just have this rogue disc that I could scratch, potentially drop, and or ruin, and then my movie that I just stole is fucked. Meanwhile, I could just take this download code, take it, download it, and now I have the movie.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as like allegations, like,
again, don't do it.
Again, yes, please don't do this. Just saying.
I actually hate it. I hate streaming and downloading things in general. This is coming from a guy who has too many movies on DVD. Don't do this.
Yeah, just saying. As far as allocating like priority.
Yeah.
You know,
like, I'd rather you just like steal the movie online than like rip open a DVD and steal the download.
Yeah.
Because it's with me. Because then I buy your copy that you stole from, and now I have to look like the number one suspect when I bring it back to Target. Like, that's how shitty I felt. Because I didn't shower that day. Because I was just kind of like locked up. Because I wasn't expecting to leave the house, so I didn't come into contact with anything. So I was like, all right, like, I could skip today. Because all I'm doing is washing my hands anyway. My body's not come in contact with anything else. I haven't left the house. So, you know, I'm going to bum it today. I'm just going to put the beanie on, wear some gym shorts, a Motley Crue t-shirt, whatever, wear flip-flops. And then, I'm like, all right. My mother's like, can you go? I have this, like, issue with something and like I don't want to catch it, so can you just go out for me and then wash up afterwards? I'm like, fine, I might as well go get Jojo Rabbit. So then I go get it, only for it to have the download code taken out. Now I have to go back to Target looking like the bum that I am, not shaven or anything, walk in there and be like, hey, someone else took this. Like, it wasn't me, even though the wrapping is now off of the thing because I didn't realize it at the time. Can I please go get the other copy? I'm not trying to do it again. I'm not selling it online to anybody. Please. Like, I'm not the suspect. And obviously I look like the fucking suspect because...
As someone who's worked the customer service, like the guest service,
yeah,
most of the time, we believe you. Even if it's like weird circumstances, we believe you. Generally speaking, we believe you. I mean,
right.
It has to be really, really obvious what you're doing. I think the easiest way to like get them to not think that is to just be nice.
Right, I was very nice about it. I was like,
most of the
hey...
time, if you're dealing with someone who has stolen the item, they're also being complete jackasses.
Oh, they're gonna be like, what the fuck? Why would I buy this and not have this? You guys have better security on these things.
Yeah,
that's what they'd probably be like if they stole it.
That's when they're trying to cover their ass.
Yeah, they're trying to overcorrect on it. Like, oh, I'm going to be very angry about it. So then if I'm angry about it, they're going to not think I did it.
I get that a lot, especially if I'm working the register.
Oh, do you actually deal with, like, people? Like, it's your fault and you have the solution and you're not just someone hired?
Especially when it's really obvious that they're stealing something. Like, I saw this one, it was... So I have a story of two very... very overweight. I'm just going to assume they were sisters because they looked very similar. Okay? And they were either not very aware, like not very... I'm trying to be tactful. So they were either kind of, not all there, or they were very, very high.
Okay.
And they came in. Okay, do you know about these, like, baby something? They're like little baby dolls, but they come in like eggs, like little ball things. LOL surprise, that's what it is. And this woman, one of them came up with a box of these little balls. It was because they come in like these dispensers that you cut open, you put on the shelf, and people take one. And she was like, and this is her real voice, I swear. They were like, this. And she put the dispenser on the conveyor belt, and she was clutching like a fistful of really, really skinny jeans in another hand. And the person who was with her had like, it was very, very, very obvious she was wearing jeans on top of her jeans, because the waistline was down, exposing more jeans. So either she had denim flesh, or she was stealing jeans that were not her size. So I start taking the balls out of the dispenser and I start scanning them one at a time. And she's like, why are you scanning them? Why are you scanning them like that? Like,
because we have to put them back in the system.
I was like, well, because it's on the conveyor belt. And she's like, well, you just scan one. Like, no.
Oh, I see what she's doing.
No, I have to scan each one of these. It's like, it's $5. And I had to say, like, ma'am, each one of these balls is $5. And she said, no, so the box on the shelf is $5. It's like, yes, the shelf says $5 because each one of these balls is $5.
And it would be really stupid to put $5 on each of one of these. Like,
yeah, they have barcodes.
They come in a box. Yeah.
it's kind of expected to be self-explanatory that the box full of these little balls, like if it looks like it's worth more than $5, it's probably because it is.
Also, the box is open on display so you can take a ball out and purchase it. It's not a closed up thing. If it was a closed up thing, then everything in the box would be what you're buying.
Yeah. So she looked at me, and I swear one of, like, she was like looking at me like her brain had like 4 or 5 neurons that were still operational. While the others were like dealing with whatever drug was in her system. And they were like, "Oh God, okay, we gotta like panic, figure out what to do." So she just stared at me, and she just left the box on the conveyor belt and waddled off. And while she was walking off, the sister took 2 packs of gum and stuck it in her bra. And I saw her, and I like looked at her like, "Hey, I see you doing that." And she was like, she looked at me like I was roadkill. And waddled off, and as she was walking off, the fucking pants that she was wearing on her pants ripped.
Oh my God, no.
And she kept walking anyway.
God damn it, you just had the best story, because I was about to tell a story from work too, and it's not as funny as that. But speaking of work stories, there was this one day I was working at FYE, and I was doing the opening shift. I was alone, but my manager came in, and he's cool as shit. Like, he's one of those managers that don't give a fuck. Like, he cares enough. Like, he cares. He cares to the point where he's like, we have to get our work done. You know, we have to service the customer. We have to let them blah, 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 blah. But he's also fun as shit to be around and all that other junk. And there was a day where, like, he just got in. He took a phone call from a customer. And then, like, he just kind of got in, got settled. I had about 2 hours left on my shift. And there's this little girl that walks into the store. Like, child. Right? Like, 2 years old. No mother to be found. She has an iPhone in her hand. She waddles over to, like, this display right in front of the counter that's, like it creates the aisle for people to walk down to check out. And on that shelf right where to create the aisle, there's candy, like lollipops. So this girl waddles in, and he just gets off the phone, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, this unsupervised toddler just walked in. I don't know what we're gonna do about it, but like, this thing's unsupervised." And he's like, "Where?" And he kind of peeks around the corner, and the girl kind of peeks her head around the corner, and then she just kind of like waddles out of the store, but like in full frame is holding one of the lollipops. And I think she knows she was doing something bad, because she started hauling ass with that waddle, like that toddler waddle. So my manager's like, "All right, no. He gets out to go get the lollipop back, because like the policy is if you see the person obviously doing it, you can like street justice them enough where it's like, "Hey, I saw what you did. I know where what you stole is." Like, the policy is if you see somebody steal, you kind of have to know where they put it on them in order to, you know, prosecute them properly. So obviously we see the toddler with the lollipop in the left hand sprinting out of the store. So we're like, all right, that's obvious. So he goes to get the lollipop back. He's gone for about 2 to 3 minutes, and he comes back. He has the lollipop, and I hear the kid just like screaming down the hall, like crying her eyes out. And I'm like, "What happened?" He goes, "Well, I found her mother." And I'm like, "Okay." He goes, "Is she screaming and crying because he took the lollipop?" He goes, "No, she's screaming and crying because her mother slapped the shit out of her after she found out she took a lollipop." I was like, Jesus Christ. And by the way, guess where the mother was? She was like all the way down at the edge of the mall. Like, if I were to tell you where the counter was, if I'm standing at the counter, the entrance to the store is to the left of me. And the store is in like the hall of the mall. So like there's the long hall where all the stores are lined up, or like right in the middle of the hall. There's a Dave and Buster's up the hall from us, and then down the hall from us, like going behind me if I'm standing at the register with the entrance to the left, there's this watch kiosk right before you get to the open area where the Santa Claus usually sits. That thing is like at the end of the hall. That's a pretty far away thing. But the fucked up thing was when I saw the kid walking into the store, she was coming from the opposite direction of where the mother was. So she was even further away from her mother than
this
like
was on the way back.
On the way back of whatever farther place she was from her mother. And this is a like 2-year-old, 2 or 3-year-old, like, brand new to walking.
Brand new to walking.
Yeah. Waddles into the store, and then the mother, like, backhands her because of this lollipop. Like, it's fucking insane, dude. I don't know how some of these people reproduce.
Well, I assume a gore nest.
Well, actually, when a man and a woman love each other very much.
When two dysfunctional people love each other very much.
When two dysfunctional people get shit-faced and end up in the same bed without using protection.
The man extends his phallus from his face and impregnates the female's ovipositor. She then lays a clutch of eggs.
Jesus.
In a nest of Mountain Dew boxes.
Oh, going back to the like stealing thing, there's these things that we sold at FYE because it's the music store and video store thing. K-pop is really huge now. That's kind of one of those trends that kind of like was off my radar for the longest time.
K-pop comes and goes.
Well, now they have like the really big deal things, and all these like 13-year-old girls are buying it, and they're like actually, which I should be happy about because they're buying physical media again, but I hate it because I just hate the gimmick and like what they do with it. Because they'll like release the CD, but the CD will come with 2 bonus CDs, and then it comes in this giant like 8.5 by 11 inch thing case or whatever, and then inside of it comes with the postcards of like the 8 different band members, band in quotation marks because they all just quote unquote sing, and then they'll have like little hidden gems in them too, which only some of them come with them, not all of them, and blah 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 blah. So when I first started working there, I didn't know that like you couldn't do returns on them, and neither did my coworker. But this lady came in, and she was complaining that one of the ones that she just bought didn't have a certain thing inside of it that it was supposed to come with. And we're like, oh, sorry about that. Do you want to have another one? Blah, 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 blah. So she got another one exchanged or whatever. And then, like, apparently that happened, like, again before I came in. So, like, this is the second or third time that she's come in with the same product that was missing whatever was supposed to be in it. But then like we started having the suspicion that she was just taking the thing out because they resell very fat, like for a lot of money on like eBay or something, because people really want to collect it all. It's one of those stupid gimmicks. And I think the thing that she was looking for was something that is only in a certain amount of the product. So it's kind of like you're gambling to get it. Where if you get it, you got the better edition, but you won't know. There's
this new culture, right? And I get this a lot when I'm working like the toy section. There are whole lines of these real life unboxing things that are designed and sold so people can make YouTube videos about opening them up and seeing what's inside of them.
I've seen those videos.
And it's like there's this Ryan's World stuff where
I've heard of that.
It's like a big fucking plastic pirate chest that you open up, and it's got all this shit inside of it that nowhere near justifies the price tag on this thing. And the whole idea is that you get it, you record yourself, oh my god, look at this, holy shit, it's the pink cube, oh and you record it, and then you post the video, and then you toss the shit in the garbage because no one likes any of it. And
I think it's a little different with the K-pop thing, because the K-pop thing, you're not buying the same. Like, it's not like
I know
what you're talking about.
I know it's slightly different. I'm just like relaying my own experience.
Right. It's like trying to find a golden ticket. Like you buy. I mean, you're not gonna. All right, it's a bad example because you just go buy another chocolate bar. It's very stupid for someone to buy like 40 copies of the same CD to try and get the exclusive little like photograph Polaroid or whatever the fuck is going to be in it.
Yeah, if you have an edition that comes with a Polaroid, you should just sell that.
Right, but that's the thing is, I think that it's either one or the other. It's either the lady was pissed that hers wasn't the thing that like came with the exclusive thing, but then I think she was also taking things out that came with it so she could resell it.
Probably.
And then returning the regular CD because she already had it, because she returned 2, and one of them had like a replica of a roll of film, but it was only like 5 frames, and it wasn't like real. It was like obviously something that was like made up. They weren't actually going to use real film and like process it and put it through everything so that it could show displays, because it wasn't in negative. So it was obviously fake, but it was supposed to be a cool collector thing to have because it's a little roll of film with the band members on it, the posing or whatever. And only one of them came back with that in it. So, like, one of them was obviously missing from it. And I don't think that was the exclusive thing, because I think when we looked it up on Amazon to see what it was supposed to come with, that was one of the guaranteed things. So I don't know why she was... I don't know. And I think the other thing, too, is the roll of film or whatever little frames of film that came with it were all something that had something different on it. So you could get a roll, like 5 frames of film, fake film or whatever, in it, and your 5 frames are going to be different from the 5 frames that someone else got.
I just imagine these band members like hanging out at an assembly line, and every hundred units or so they take a Polaroid selfie and just put it in the box.
Right, I could totally see that. So I think this lady was doing that kind of shit where she would come in, try to return it, but she stole some shit out of it so she could sell it on eBay and then wash, rinse, repeat. And then I think we had to stop her from doing it because I think she came back again and we were like, all right, listen, we can't keep taking these from you. Like, you have to stop. And after that incident, our manager's like, oh, yeah, you're not supposed to return these. Like, these are final offers, final sale. So after that, I just told anybody who was buying anything that was K-pop, I'm like, hey, speak now or forever hold your peace. You can't return this. Was there a term for like people at what was like Walmartians?
Yeah, well, I know there's a website that's like People of Walmart that's like all the fucking
God.
And I hate looking at that.
I'm gonna look that up while you tell me this story. I want to see that.
I hate looking that up though, because it's like, okay, these are people, you know, they're humans, but sometimes
wait, there's a coloring book.
What?
No way! My God!
There's a People of Walmart coloring book.
Oh my God! The front cover is 2 people in like, one dude. It's a dude that's like obviously too old to be rocking a Speedo, and then his trampy girlfriend with a Confederate flag bottom of her bikini.
I'm looking it up. I have to. Coloring book. Oh God. So
people listening, look this up while we're talking about it. Oh my God.
If you're driving, look this up. Stop in the middle of traffic and look it up.
Nobody's driving right now. They're all stuck in their homes.
Oh yeah, no. If you're listening to us, you're probably doing dishes. You know, so you're probably doing something. But a lot of what I have as far as where I work now are like customers that are obviously trying to steal things. Mm-hmm. Customers that are filming their vlogs. Like we get a lot of vloggers that come into the store.
Greenville?
Yes.
Who the fuck is interesting in Greenville?
Because everyone wants to be Mr. Beast.
Oh right. I can't shit on him. He gave me $1,100.
I'll shit on him.
All right, go for it.
Everyone...
Mr. Beast, if you're somehow listening to this, thank you.
Yeah, if you're somehow listening 3 hours in.
Yeah, thank you for the 100,000.
Give me money. Give me money, you bastard.
Actually, you know what? I earned that 1,100. I made that epic shot.
Pong.
Everybody, go on Mr. Beast's channel and watch the beer pong video.
Yeah, surf through his hundreds of videos.
You'll see me be epic.
So, I have a lot of vloggers that come in that get in the fucking way. Because they'll be talking on their phones like, hey guys, it's Clarissa. I know, right? Anyway, I'm just doing some shopping. And I'm standing right in the middle of the aisle. I know. There's some guy trying to work here, but I'm going to block him. Anyway, there's a bunch of customers behind me. They're getting really pissed off at me, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to talk for 10 minutes about my schnauzer. Mr. Mitten fuck. Mr. Mitten fucks.
Mr. Mitten fucks.
Mr. Mitten Fox had to have his anal glands expelled or something.
I had to take Mr. Mitten Fucks to the vet yesterday because I had to get his testicles removed because he wouldn't stop pumping the mittens. So
I had to get Mr.
How do you think he got his name?
Had to have a rectal cyst taken care of in Mr. Mitten Fox. So I get a lot of vloggers. They are not, though ironically they are not as annoying. Because you can kind of walk into their shot.
Be like that shit.
Well, that's what I do. Sometimes I'll walk in while they are talking, especially if they're being really disruptive and getting in the way of things. And I'll just walk in and go, "Something I can help you with, ma'am?" So they have to stop and go, no. And then they get right back on their shit. But what's more annoying than them are the people that just kind of move very slowly through the entire store on FaceTime.
Oh, I dealt with those people.
But they're never looking. They're never looking at their phone, though.
No, they're holding it like they're on speakerphone, but then there's also a face on it.
What's the point?
I don't know. I've seen that before. They're looking at Target ceiling. No, don't put on speaker. I don't want to hear your stupid conversation.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're going to do that, why even do the face? So you can occasionally glance down at them? Most of the time, the person on the phone is probably just looking up their nose. I
know. It's yeah, even the people in the camera, you're seeing, like, their nose and their eyes at a weird angle. There's never, like, their face.
And they're never saying anything. They're just kind of like, yeah.
They're like always listening to this person just ranting.
And I was just, I told him that, I didn't want the ticket. And the guy's like, yeah.
Oh, that poor sap.
Yeah. Yeah, just moving slowly through the store like some kind of great lumbering beast.
You know what you got to do? If you're in that situation? What you got to do is you have to take a selfie of you in the same position that you are on the FaceTime call. And then unbeknownst to them, make that their phone background. And then when they FaceTime you in the middle of their rant, you just kind of hang up, so it's just their screen showing, but it's the picture that you sent to them and made their like home screen, so they still think it's you there, and then you can just do whatever you want.
I think
there you go.
I don't think that's something I could do stealthily.
I'm just saying that if anybody's dealing with that issue,
I'd have to get a hold of their phone to make that their home picture.
You're right, and you know what? That person lives by their phone, dies by their phone. So
dies by their phone.
Good luck. That's what it is.
They get sick, their phone gets sick.
Like by dies by their phone is that they will walk straight in the traffic on their phone, not knowing it's traffic, and then they'll get smashed by it.
Are you walking on the train tracks again? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So those people, what's another one that I... Oh, and groups of laughing college students that aren't there to shop. They're just there to kind of crowd around and giggle.
They're bored.
They're bored. Let's go to the Target and giggle.
Let's go to Target, look at things that we're not gonna buy, and then.
And they'll come around consumables and they'll touch everything and they'll take shit off the shelf and then they'll just put it on a different part of the shelf.
I hate that when people are like, they obviously could just put the thing back where they got it and they don't.
Especially when they put it back, but it's not even like they're taking it and then they're putting it back on some shelf on the opposite end of the store. They're putting it back on the same shelf, just not in the same place.
Right.
Like next to the place. Or on the shelf underneath the place. Just put it back where you found it. It's not hard.
I really don't get people sometimes, and I just, oh my god.
It's these kinds of attitudes that really make me kind of self-evaluate now whenever I go into like Harris Teeter or somewhere.
Right.
And I'm like,
you're kind of like, am I being that douchebag right now?
Yeah, I'll be walking around and I'll like look around for something that I can't find, and then I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Am I acting like a huge asshole right now for no reason? Did I, like, whenever I have something and then I walk around and go like, well, I really don't need this, I make a really big point about walking all the way back to the part of the store where I got it and putting it right back where the fuck I found it.
You know what's even weirder is that I will actually, like, and I'll see myself in the store seeing something that's not in the right place and actually just not really thinking about it, bringing it back to the right place that it's supposed to be.
Oh my, I do that all the time. I will like idle and zone a shelf at a place I don't even work.
I know it's
like
I think it's the habit of cleaning up other people's messes at this point.
I did that at Harris Teeter. Like without thinking, I zoned an entire aisle. And I got called out by one of the employees.
Hey, that's my job.
No, I was doing it and they were like, "Hey, you're not in uniform." It's like, "Oh, I don't work here." And they were like, "Then what are you doing?"
Helping you.
And I'm like, I am celebrating zoning day. It's shelf organizing day. Didn't you know it's a holiday?
So you made that up.
Yeah.
That's not a real holiday. Please buy something or get out of the store.
At least he didn't say you made that up, sir. Sir, get laid. Please get laid.
Get laid.
You know your life.
Oh my god, I'm gonna use that as an insult.
Sir, please get laid.
Remember when Bart Simpson used to say "get bent" all the time? I'm gonna start saying "get laid" to people who are just being like annoying. Get laid.
But, awesome. But you gotta do it. You gotta say it in like a concerned voice. That's what makes it. That's what makes it more impactful, I think. Because if you just say if you just say, "Oh, get laid," it's like you're trying to say "get fucked," but you're being lame about it.
Oh, true.
But if you walk up to someone and it's like, "Dude, okay, seriously,
get laid.
You need to get laid.
Need to get laid.
I'm worried about you. You need to get laid. Please."
Speaking about getting laid,
we all care about you.
Speaking about getting laid, how is that film that I was Jesus in coming along?
It's coming.
Is it?
Look, listen.
Because as far as I'm concerned, you're stuck in a house or in an apartment right now with nothing to do.
I have been goddamn busy. I have been goddamn busy. Okay?
With what?
I'm making little tiny figures. Okay? And I'm attacking the cat. Okay? I gotta sneak up on the cat. And I gotta grab its face. So it freaks out. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. I'm working on it. It's almost done. It's just I have to fit it in between a bunch of work because Ken dumps it on us. Like dumps it on us. And I'm in like 2 writing intensive classes right now, and honestly, I am, fucking dealing with a virus and all the shit that comes along with that, and taxes and shit. It will get done. It's too good to not get done because everybody I've shown the rough cut to has been like, that's like legitimately fucking funny.
Have you sent me the rough cut?
Yeah. Yeah, I sent
Send
you
it
the
to
rough...
me again.
I mean, yeah, I can send it to you again.
Okay, cool.
But I'm like, yeah, it'll get done. It'll get done. I am a lot busier than I look. Like, legitimately busier than I look. To the point where even fucking Connor is telling me that I need to relax.
Okay, that's pretty busy.
When Connor tells you you're too busy, it's like, well, god damn it.
How was your trip, by the way, there?
I learned a lot about the area, and I now know that I can get there pretty easily.
Okay, that's good.
I know a bunch of people now that I can crash at, including Connor. So I can crash at Connor, I could crash at Kaylee. Then there's this other person. And I know that jobs there are plentiful. They are abundant. They are abundant and in my field. So there's that.
Why don't you sound happier?
Well,
Mhm.
I could have done a lot more if it hadn't been for the virus, because it was starting to spread, and they were getting like the first inklings of like, hey, this thing's becoming a big deal. And I'm like,
right, that happened during everybody's spring break.
Yeah, and I was like, there's shit that I want to get done here, but then they're like, hey, you need to like avoid the fucking crowds because Atlanta's becoming like a hot spot. And I'm like, oh, god damn it.
Yeah, this thing kind of like, I mean, like, it was kind of on the back burner, like, hey, this could be a big thing, but like it really just snowballed in like days.
Yeah.
Like, I remember it was there was a week that I think it was a couple weeks ago now, because we're kind of into it now, but there was a day where it was like a Tuesday, and I was like, oh, okay, this thing's kind of becoming a thing. Hopefully we can kind of just nip it, and hopefully it's just a thing. Because remember when like swine flu was happening, and it was like that could be a problem, but we're not gonna like freak out. Like,
yeah,
remember that?
Swine flu was less infectious.
Right. So like people were kind of like, oh, okay, there's that thing over there. We might need to be a little careful, but we should be fine. I thought it was going to be one of those kind of situations. So I was like, all right, well, coronavirus is over there. It's not a lot of cases. Should probably be a blowover in a week or so. And it was from like a Tuesday to like a Thursday that I literally woke up Thursday morning and it was like, hey, everything is fucking canceled. Every sport is canceled. All the movies canceled. All the tours canceled. Stay indoors. And I'm like, what the fuck did I miss last night?
It's that 2-week transmission period. It's that
right.
2-week period where you have it, but you're asymptomatic and you can spread it.
That's
what's really like the thing.
It was so weird. I was like, dude, this just fucking exploded. Because it was literally a matter of like 2 days where I was like, that could be a problem too. Okay, the whole year is canceled. What the fuck?
Yeah, 2020 got canceled.
Yeah, it's basic. Dude, honestly, like, I'm almost annoyed with the people who don't stay indoors now because I want football season to still happen.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
those people, I saw the meme, like, all over the place now. It's like the same people that don't, like, self-isolate are the kind of people that would hide a zombie bite.
Oh, that's so true. That is so true.
Well,
I could believe that.
We've been going on for 3 hours now.
Yeah, and we're back full circle. We started with coronavirus. We ended with coronavirus.
We're ending on the coronavirus. I'm gonna call this episode 2020 is canceled.
Yeah, that's a good name.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right.
All right. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah,
This has
assuming
been
the audio's good. Yeah.
roller coaster of different topics in that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what to expect with a 3.5-hour podcast.
That's what to expect with a disjointed talkcast.
Right, disjointed. I forgot that's what the name of the thing was.
Disjointed talkcast. Anyways, Q Fuzzy Weasel.
And Jake.
And Jake the Snake.
It's just Jake.
Jake the Badger.
And it's Jake Skywalker.
Jake the Pangolin.
Did you not see Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, I saw Rise of Sky. Got it. Jake Skywalker. Okay. You're not a Skywalker. You're a Palpatine.
And Palpatine's full plan was, dude. That's gonna be for another podcast. Never mind.
We'll say that. We'll say that for another podcast because I gotta go bed.
Yeah, now that this thing is set up, I want to kind of play with Audacity. So
yeah.
All right.
All right. So
peace out, bro.
Peace out. All right.